That grocery store.
Give me that. Started with the grocery store.
Right,
Exactly
course,
right.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Take a listen to it. It's from this sort of funk master named Floyd Wonder, who I believe hails out of Detroit. Mas queso.
Mosque means more cheese.
Exactly.
Give me that cheddar, we getting Rico. Big money rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that, give me that. Give me my slippers, call me mimosa. My limousine and my chauffeur. So don't know Vias, no esposa. Give me that, give me that.
What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Give me that.
It was almost like we tasked him to create a theme song for BLM Brandon's "Gimme That Empire."
Give me
Yeah,
that
I want
mimosa. Give me that sofa.
more mas queso. As you being a polyglot, more cheese.
Thank
right?
you.
Yeah,
It's hard to figure out, but after
I
spending
want
years
more.
in Spain,
The I want more refrain. It's pretty good. All right, so we'll develop that anyway.
he's in Montreal, by the way. Montreal. Brandon
What?
Johnson at a Great Lakes Summit today.
Oh,
Just so you know.
I'm great. Glad to keep up.
Well,
with
you know,
him.
because there's no big birthday celebration or 1 year in office celebration because he's working very hard to keep.
When
our
he came into
waterways clean.
office, Chicago needed treatment, not trauma. Treatment, not trauma. No more trauma, no more drama. Treatment. The treatment would come by investing in people and in systems of care. We have committed, for example, to addressing our city's homelessness crisis with $250 million in support for Chicago's unhoused, constructed more than 100 affordable units, with 700 more under construction across the south and west sides. Half of the $1.25 billion neighborhood investment plan will go toward affordable housing to fund construction, preservation, or repair of more than 5,400 housing units across the city. Gosh, it can really be interesting to see how this turns out because, of course, the city of Chicago has no particular track record, no history with government housing, how that goes.
No, not at all.
Uh-huh.
How's
No wonder.
Cabrini Green going? Oh, wait, they're dismantled.
So that's going very well. The migrant crisis, the strength that Chicago has, thanks to his leadership, his words. That strength, however, has been tested as 1 year ago we inherited a migrant crisis entering a reckless and wicked phase. Since May 12th, the Friday before my inauguration of last year, there have been 800 buses sent to the Chicago area. 99% of the buses sent to our area since January 1 of 23 came after I took office. This is by design. You become a target when you commit to investing in people.
Oh, okay. Easy there.
He's been
Take a
targeted.
slice of humble pie.
Because of his courage to take your money and build government housing and open a government grocery store and give it to people in this country illegally, he has been targeted by the forces of evil.
Because he's
3-1
such a beacon of hope.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. He's spoken about this before.
The governor of Texas is determined to create chaos. We have brought calm, structure to a very volatile situation. But again, this is unprecedented. Unprecedented. Never in the history of America where a local government has been asked to build a resettlement for migrants. But yet here we are.
I'm such a hero.
Actually, you weren't asked to build a resettlement. And never in the history of America have local governments like the city of Chicago said we're going to openly flout federal immigration law and be non-compliant with federal law enforcement as it pertains to immigration. Nobody said, will you do this? And you agreed to take this on or forced you to do this. You could have said, we're not going to do this. We're not going to be a sanctuary jurisdiction. We're going to turn people in this country legally over to ICE. And that's a federal responsibility, but we're not partaking We're not facilitating. We're not enabling lawlessness at our border and throughout our city and our country. You could have said that, but you chose not to. You chose to say, well, of course, we agree with the big guy. Come anytime you want, for whatever reason you want. And we got all kinds of goodies from the Gimme Dat store paid for by other people to distribute to you. That's what you actually did, your heroic resettlement. Anyway, yeah, he's definitely the hero in this story. Reopening mental health clinics, increasing resources for victims and survivors of crime. Well, those are going up. I mean, the victims and survivors. We got the Chicago Department of Housing Home Repairs Program to support homeowners turning outdated loop office space into affordable housing. There you go. Ghetto in the loop. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
One fair wage ordinance, eliminating the sub-minimum wage for basically restaurant workers, whether they want it eliminated or not. And, of course, crime is on the wane. We reduced homicides and shootings citywide, created a plan to streamline approval process, to build more housing and support commercial development. Everything runs through the city, of course. Deeply proud, incredible strides, continue the fight for the soul of Chicago. Let's go forward, Chicago, the only way we can. You know how that is. How do we go forward? We go forward together.
Right. To create a better, stronger, safer Chicago.
Yeah, the whole of government diligence, too. I mean, it's a lot on BLM Brandon's shoulders because this is sort of funny. It comes to us from this phony baloney goo-goo organization called the BGA. But, the numbers are the numbers. Johnson City Council, in Chicago City Council, spends a third of its time on honorary resolutions. 1/3 of the time they're convened, they're just passing honorary resolutions, paying tribute to some person for doing this, or recognizing some day or some month as, for this identitarian group. 1/3 of the time.
Oh my gosh.
But this is not new. During the 3 years of Lightfoot's administration, for which digital recordings are available, 36% of the council's time is spent on non-binding or honorary matters. Right, Chicago, it's not like Chicago has a huge red ink problem, a massive crime problem, the resource suck of tens of thousands of people in this city and in this country illegally. Third of their time on honorary resolutions on, backslapping some favored constituent or constituent group.
Or like renaming 100 blocks and honoraries.
Yeah. The important stuff.
Casey's, I don't even know who they are, but they're now the 3800 block of North Marshfield. Woohoo!
Passing a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Yeah, because Benjamin.
Calling for support for funding of Ukraine, rebuking President Trump or the signage at Trump Tower. Important things like this. They're such serious people, our feudal lords.
God, just real. And remember when people mooned the Trump Tower, those liberals, and the men wore their pea hats, and they did a collective 1, 2, 3, pull your pants down, and they mooned the Trump Tower. Do you remember that, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just reminded me of that when you were talking about the Trump sign.
Oh, well, okay. Well,
So
that's the sort of constituency that produces the sort of city council and the sort of mayor we have now and have had more or less for, I don't know, my lifetime, 50 years. But all you need is some quotidian rhetoric in the direction of unity and stronger together, and maybe get some wristbands printed up and distributed. And we'll just keep going along until we go over the cliff, unbeknownst to us. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, a family-owned restaurant, a Chicago family favorite for over 40 years. Why? Because they're known for sub sandwiches the size of your forearm. No joke. Their 6-inch sub has more meat and cheese in it than any foot long in an Irish neighborhood. These sandwiches are iconic, famous for their homemade Italian beef, meatballs, burgers, and of course, delicious Italian subs loaded with mortadella, cabagol, salami, provolone, and their own secret sauce called Love Potion Number 9. This vinegar and oil dressing is famous on its own. Both Augustino's locations boast walls covered in authentic rock and roll memorabilia and artifacts, all celebrating their love for good old-fashioned rock and roll. Augie's is a feast for your eyes and your stomach. Dine in or carry out. Bring the family or the team. Plus, Augie's caters corporate meetings, parties, and celebrations. Don't make it yourself. Make it happen with Augustino's. Go to Augustinos.com for locations and menus. That's Augustinos.com.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Was former President Trump smart to so quickly agree to the two debates with the big guy, January 27th, September 10th? We'll discuss. Take your calls, 538.
And I lost another friend yesterday, Dan. I'll tell you why. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
54 degrees at 5:32. The Biden campaign accusing Donald Trump of playing games with presidential debates. This after Trump says he will participate in a third debate hosted by Fox News in October. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
The Biden and Trump campaigns went from no debates on the books to two in just a matter of hours.
Donald Trump lost two debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice.
The two candidates both say they will participate in a CNN debate in Atlanta on June 27th and an ABC News debate September 10th. Former President Trump is calling for additional debates in July and August, a proposal the president's team is not accepting. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Supreme Court is allowing Louisiana to move forward with a redrawn congressional district map. Last year, Louisiana's original district map was ruled to be racially gerrymandered, and it was redrawn. A protest at the University of California, Irvine has police clearing out demonstrators. Pro-Palestinian protesters occupied the physical science lecture hall. Dozens of officers from multiple Orange County jurisdictions cleared out that building. Small skirmishes were visible on the outskirts of that encampment. A hospital official says Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico is in serious but stable condition this morning. The populist leader was shot multiple times in an assassination attempt on Wednesday. A suspect is in custody. It was a clear political attack, according to prosecutors. Layoffs are coming in waves at some Tesla facilities in California. The electric car manufacturer is entering its fifth consecutive week of job cuts. A grave with at least 10 bodies has been found in Tijuana, just days after the murders of 3 men from San Diego. The mass grave near Tijuana was found by a nonprofit helping families look for missing people. The NFL heading to Netflix. The streaming giant will be the exclusive home for the league's 2 Christmas Day games this season. A driver died after being shot while driving and crashing into several parked cars on the city's south side. The crash happened around 11:50 last night in the 2400 block of 91st. CPD detectives are investigating that as a homicide. A former executive from Loretto Hospital is accused of helping to embezzle nearly $500,000 from that facility on Chicago's west side during the COVID-19 pandemic. Heather Bergdahl was charged with embezzlement from a federally funded program. And 2 are in custody following a car chase and subsequent search through the west suburbs. Officers in Oak Brook say burglary and aggravated fleeing charges will be filed against the pair. Charges came after officers began following the pair during a burglary in Lombard. Cubs over the Braves 7-1. White Sox winners over Washington on the south side 2-0. The News is a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you with an insurance claim. They've helped thousands. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk sees too much agreement in D.C.
They might shout at each other over abortion. They might shout at each other over guns. But that's all theatrics. When it comes down to what really matters, protecting big corporations, keeping our borders wide open, and relentlessly invading foreign countries and funding wars that have nothing to do with us, D.C. finds harmony.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you. You've watched the news. Rising crime has been affecting our everyday lives in Illinois more and more these days. Blue Star Security can protect you, your business, or your place of worship. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 900 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Jeffrey Salvetti, Vice President of Blue Star Security and a 15-year law enforcement veteran. The Blue Star team is made up of over 900 state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals. We serve businesses and private organizations with supply chain and special event security, and also protect our loved ones at places of worship and schools all across the Chicagoland area. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at bluestarsecurityllc.com. That's bluestarsecurityllc.com.
When the storms hit Chicagoland this spring and your home or business has water damage, ProTech Restoration is ready 24/7. The certified team at ProTech Restoration will be there quickly and work directly with your insurance. But even in between the storms, if you come across water in your basement, bathroom, or kitchen due to leaking pipes, an appliance breakdown, or sump pump failure, know that ProTech Restoration has seen it all and knows what to do. They are a leading Chicagoland emergency water damage cleanup, repair, and restoration company, offering 24-hour rapid response. They'll clean up, extract, repair, even do a total build back. Search online for ProTech Restoration in Elk Grove Village and check out their Google reviews. To get your free on-site evaluation and estimate, visit protechwaterdamage.com. That's ProTech waterdamage.com. Servicing the entire Chicagoland. ProTech Restoration. Experience, transparency, trust. ProTechWaterDamage.com.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage, available at Navage.com.
540 on AM 560, The Answer. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of scholarships.com. Imagine the news. Your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It's avoidable when you join scholarships.com, free to find accurate and vetted scholarships personalized for your student. Well, in Lincoln Park this morning, hundreds of Chicago police have descended on DePaul University. Right now, they're clearing out the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas encampment that has been set up there for at least a week and a half. Boards and pallets are being pulled outside of the quad as police continue to move in and around the campus quad. There are some delays when it comes to traffic. Be careful driving in that area, as again, police are directing traffic around the DePaul University campus this morning. In Addison, report of a hit-and-run accident, bad one, Lake Street, east of I-355. And in Bensonville, police are on the scene of an accident, Church and Irving Park. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Turning cloudy, there is a chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, high 74. Currently, cloudy and 53. Your next news update is at 6. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, two debates set between Trump and the big guy, June 27th and September 10th. Pretty early. June 27th, a June debate, June presidential debate, and nothing, in the last 45, 50 days. It's a bit odd. I mean, I know early voting begins in September in a lot of places. Who knows? Some states it may begin in June, but
it might have already started, but that's long before the RNC and the DNC.
CNN is one.
With Jake Tapper and Dana Bash.
Right. And do I have that right, that part of the terms of agreement include that CNN will cut off the mics if people go over time?
Yep.
Or don't listen to the moderators?
And if if they don't listen to the moderators, they'll cut off your mic. And if they ask a question, the other person's mic is completely shut off. So there will be no debate. There will be no corrections made. It's going to be, I just can't believe Trump agreed to this. No audience, no third-party candidate, microphone cut off automatically, no crosstalk.
I think
and no live audience. Yes.
I think RFK Jr. should be on the stage, but I can understand why neither would want him there. The no audience, that's another stipulation that favors Biden, as does making it about the moderator. So this gives the moderators a lot of opportunity to bail out Biden, to run cover for him as best they can in that sort of setting. Do you think Trump was too impetuous, too excited about actually getting Biden on a debate stage when there was a lot of suspicion that he wouldn't? I was not part of that group, because I just think that him not debating, even if he was up in the polls and he was actually inclined not to debate, that is not going to be received well. You can't hide. I mean, you can hide in your basement, and he did so, but he still had this presence where he was on the cable news channels all the time with them running interference for him in 2020, I'm talking about, of course. You can't just duck a presidential debate as a major party nominee. You just can't do it, especially in a close race. But in this situation, given all the recent polling and the hysterics coming from so many of the most revered consultants on the left, the Axelrods and the Carvilles, maybe Trump was a little bit too impetuous. Maybe he came to this with a little bit too much alacrity in wanting to get Biden on the debate stage, and he could have negotiated a better deal with the art of the deal. Because Biden right now, especially when you're thinking about a debate that's 6 weeks away, is much more in need of getting into this race than Trump is. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
And why now? Like, why, he released this 14-second clip yesterday with, let's get ready to rumble. And
that was Trump's response to make my day.
Yeah, I mean,
other cliches.
Doddering old fool. I mean, my God. And they had five different cuts in his 14-second clip, and he was all like juiced up on something when he said.
Oh, the jump cuts. Yeah, I think the entire debate should have to be done in famous movie lines.
Oh.
Since they started it this way, make my day, and let's get ready to rumble. That's not really a movie line, but entertainment lines. I will accept Michael Buffer as Michael Buffer quotes or catchphrases as acceptable.
Well, in case you missed it, here it is.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal.
Oh
I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
You're very Eastwoodian, as we mentioned yesterday. So it almost like this almost seemed to have come off the cuff when he was interviewed by Howard Stern, and he said that he would debate Trump, and then they sort of that got some coverage, and then now it's like now we're going to formalize it with this debate challenge. Like he's on offense, he's not on defense. He's not afraid. He's not too fragile to debate. He's not hiding in his basement. This is Scranton Joe, scrappy Scranton Joe, and he's going to fight his way through the finish line. He is the one dictating the terms of debate, figuratively and literally.
He looks like the one in power right now, but his polling numbers are, don't show it that way. But now he's controlling the narrative. He's setting the rules, and Trump was too eager to jump on that and say yes, yes.
Well, he's not controlling the narrative, but he's setting the terms of debate, literally, and I guess somewhat figuratively in the debate about debates. But that's not the larger story that most people care about. I just wonder if there couldn't have been a better deal struck that would provide more latitude for Trump, because the showmanship is Trump's strength. The sort of blank canvas is Trump's strength. Keeping it buttoned down the way that the CNN debate has been described, reported, the particulars of it, certainly advantages Biden. And again, here, if people can do this, they did it in 2020 to their own chagrin. He won't even be able to remain awake for the entire debate. He's not going to be lucid. You had all this time spent by Republicans, including MAGA world, lowering expectations for Biden in advance of the debates in 2020, which was totally unhelpful. As I've said from the beginning, this is your nominee. You chose him. You tell us he's uber competent. I'll go to, take any clip from any surrogate you want. Mayorkas, he's exacting in these meetings. He is inquisitive. He's engaged. He's exacting. He's demanding. It's he's a tour de force. He's an intellectual tour de force. He's a powerhouse. Okay, fine. That's what you should be saying about Biden. That's what we should be saying about Biden. What are you talking about? I am completely subscribed to Ali Mayorkas' description. Ali Mayorkas wouldn't lie to us, would he?
No.
So if Mayorkas is saying so, it must be true. So that's the expectation you should have for the big guy in those debates. And let's see if he lives up to the expectation and the description that was set by his administration.
At the State of the Union, too, he didn't fall asleep like people thought. He didn't stumble. He held his own. So don't take him for granted.
Right.
It's just 2 hours. He can.
The
he can
point
make it
is,
through.
the point is, yes, he's a senile kleptocrat, and we know this. Mm-hmm. But there's a perception game that you play in politics, and everybody should know that by now. So why would you want to lower expectations? You raise expectations, and now you're like, now Trump's going to get his hooks into him. Lower expectations. The particulars are wired for Biden. He is this dynamo that he's been described to be by his flacks in the cabinet and the administration. So this is going to be a very challenging situation for Trump. He's going to have to be at his best. He's going to have to be disciplined. He's going to have to do a good job of debunking the untruths that Biden offers consistently with such facility, like when he took office, inflation was at 9% when it was at under 2% in point of fact. Things like that. And he's going to have citations, and he's going to have to not overreact when the moderators step in to help, and particularly the CNN debate, the moderators step in to help Biden. So this is the way it seems to me it should be framed. To lower expectations for Trump, to raise expectations for Biden, and to talk about the rules of this meeting in the Thunderdome. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
It's sure going to be boring without an audience. I mean, even during 2020 and COVID, they had an audience. For one of those
yeah. Well, maybe, you know what, maybe do a COVID compromise. What? The audience can be like the NBA games. It'll just be screens of people at their homes. Oh. Remember those audiences?
Oh, yeah, and America's Funniest Home Videos where they had people watching. I know, I love that show.
Those were the sporting events with people on big screens, just like average Americans, big screens watching it. It was so Orwellian.
Oh, my God.
Permanently, indelibly etched in my memory. Mark, Southside.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I'm a Trump supporter, but I wouldn't agree to it because of one reason. I think the Biden campaign is banking on a guilty verdict out of the hush money trial, and with Dana Bash and Jake Tapper being the moderators, they'd be more than willing participants to portray President Trump as a convicted felon. I think
he would be if he was convicted.
But if he's convicted, is he going to go to jail right away?
I think that's the reason that they agreed to the debate. They're banking on a guilty verdict.
Okay, but I mean...
well, keep in mind, by June 27th, we might have a ruling on the Hunter Biden gun charge.
Yeah, he goes to trial next month, too. I mean, but the president's son is not the same thing as the president, but it certainly helps to muddy the water a little bit. Wouldn't it be deliciously ironic if, after all this lawfare, the one person who goes to jail is Hunter?
He's the one who should go to jail.
The banking on it, I mean, I sort of suppose they were banking on all of this, but now they're saying it not coming to fruition. They've got this holdout case in Manhattan, but I can't say that it's going particularly well. And if you're doing the debate and you're front loading it to June only because you think a Trump conviction will be fresh in in the public's mind, and that can be the focus of it, shouldn't you step down as the nominee, a convicted felon? We can't have a convicted felon in the White House, and the opportunity for Biden to say that directly to Trump. Sure, that could be a moment, but it could also be a moment if there is a hung jury or an acquittal, and you're still committed to that debate. And, a hung jury or an acquittal, especially a hung jury, or a directed verdict, as we talked about yesterday, by the judge. I think there's certainly more likelihood of that than I would have thought at the beginning of the trial. I'm not saying it's more than a 50-50 shot, but the case is just so weak. And I think the Trump team, this is something they have handled very well by sending all of these Republican politicians and others to Manhattan to say to the press what Trump can't say to the press under this unconstitutional gag order that has him constrained. It's generating a lot more blowback than I think they probably anticipated, and it's putting a lot more pressure on that judge than perhaps he anticipated, even in a situation as high profile as the criminal trial of a former president. So, I don't know. That's a big bet if that's the only basis for agreeing to the debate.
Why did they both ignore the Commission on Presidential Debates?
Because who cares? What do we need them for? We'll do it ourselves.
Rest in peace. It's over.
Good. They're useless. Just a bunch of. I think the phrase that was used by the Wall Street Journal editorial board is exactly right. Just a bunch of D.C. grandees. Who the hell are they to dictate the terms of debate? Let the two campaigns figure it out.
And
two parties and the campaigns figure it out. That's how
one thing they agreed on.
Bob, Buffalo Grove.
Good morning, Amy and Dan. Always great talking to you. I can't believe Trump agreed to this. The key one for me is having Tapper be the moderator along with Bash. Is Trump going to now have to debate Tapper too? Because, I mean, he is so off the wall against Trump. I'm just wondering how that debate's going to proceed.
Yeah,
and I got one other.
Well, who isn't? I mean, everybody
Yeah.
on CNN is. I mean, so, right.
And then I've got one comeback for Trump. He needs to state with regard to your movie quotes. Biden, you can't handle the truth. 9% inflation in my administration. Come on, man.
All right, good. Colonel Jessup, got to work Colonel Jessup in there. First to use the Colonel Jessup from A Few Good Men gets bonus points. I like that. Yeah, that definitely. Wow. I definitely would like to see at least a segment where you have to answer in
movie
famous.
quotes?
Yeah, movie quotes. It doesn't even need to be famous, but you have to answer movie quotes, and you have to be able to cite them.
All right. You can't handle the truth.
That would be fun. George in Naperville.
Yeah, Dan, these debates are going to bring us back to the Ali Frazier days. They should have them in closed circuit, at all the theaters. This is going to be big time.
Thanks for the call, George. Marty, Naperville.
Hey, good morning. We all know how this is going to go. Hey, Joe, what color socks are you wearing? Donald Trump, they'll ask him a question, and then they'll interrupt him. The main question somebody should say is, Biden, where did you get how are you worth $12 million? I mean, this is going to be, everybody knows how this is going to go, but it'll still go, so.
Thanks for the call,
Trump
Marty.
should ask him about, his civil rights. He was an activist. What did you do? Did you save lives? Is it you drove an 18-wheeler truck? You were a lifeguard? I mean, he should just pinpoint, have a cue card of all the lies he's told.
Yeah.
Professor at UPenn.
You need to stay in the present with an eye towards the future. I wouldn't spend a lot of time on Joe the Fabulous. He'll do himself in. He really already has.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Marvin, Burlington, Wisconsin.
Yeah, good morning. I'm astounded that the Republicans continue to fall into the trap of having these debates on liberal news networks. I mean, if they're going to have them on one, there should be at least one for one.
He said no.
It's very. Who said no?
Biden said no, absolutely no to Fox News or News Nation.
Well, then
they settled on ABC.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
who's going to moderate that? Stephanopoulos?
Probably. I mean, he's their political chief.
Exactly.
It's got to be him.
It's
who else?
It's already shaded.
Well, remember when Donna Brazile gave Hillary Clinton some questions ahead of time? She was working for CNN at the time. I wonder if they're going to do that with Biden.
Well, thanks for the call, Marvin. I mean, I understand. I think Trump likes the antagonism with the moderators. I think he sees that as advantageous because he can sort of demonstrate that he's being persecuted, that he's being treated unfairly, and I think that fits with Brand because he has been treated unfairly, mostly by the legal system in particular, of course, by these leftist media outlets, and I think he can use them as a foil in the debates, and I think he thinks he's skilled enough to do it. And the campaign was probably concerned that if they didn't agree, then Biden would say, well, I tried, and he doesn't want to debate, and that whole game would be played. And I think I think Trump really does want Biden on a debate stage, and he's willing to accept being at a disadvantage to do it.
Yep, it's where he shines. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:06, speaking of Biden's flailing numbers, and in advance of the June debate, he's going to have something substantive to say about what he's doing to address the lawlessness at the border that's spreading out throughout the country. And there are reportedly some plans in the work to just do that, We'll reveal them at 6:06.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Some breaking news. The DePaul encampment is being taken down right now as we speak by Chicago police.
Family of an assistant principal killed in the Loop is filing a lawsuit. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Michael Cohen is the prosecution's last witness.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and he'll take the stand again today in a few hours at the Trump trial in New York. But the former president's lawyer, Alina Habba, tells Fox
they haven't proved essential elements of the crime that is at hand. What they've done is created a lot of noise and a lot of distractions for the American people, given you some salacious stories.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court.
Earlier this week, Michael Cohen, the former president's lawyer, testified that Trump oversaw and approved the plans to pay off Stormy Daniels to protect his presidential campaign. But now a well-known New York lawyer who once advised Cohen, Robert Costello, told a House Judiciary Subcommittee yesterday that in 2018, Cohen told him the former president had nothing to do with the deal.
Every time I brought it up, every time he answered, I swear to God, Bob, I don't have anything on Donald Trump.
Cohen has testified there were fake invoices and reimbursements to him for paying off Daniels to keep her quiet before the 2016 election. The former president is charged with falsifying records. He accepted a debate challenge from President Biden. They'll spar June 27th and September 10th without an audience and without independent Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Here's RFK Jr.'s response to this. Presidents Trump and Biden are colluding to lock America into a head-to-head matchup that 70% say they do not want. They are trying to exclude me from their debate because they are afraid I would win.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. President Biden went to the U.S. Capitol during Police Week, honoring officers who died in the line of duty at a memorial ceremony.
Being a cop is one hell of a lot harder than it's ever been. We expect everything of you.
Months after the president called for a floating pier to help get aid into Palestinian civilians in Gaza, construction's complete by the U.S. military. It'll allow trucks to offload boatloads of food and other humanitarian aid. America's listening to Fox News.
54 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. DePaul University President Robert Manuel has ordered the clearing out of pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas protesters from the quad on the Lincoln Park campus this morning. Chicago police moved in and began dismantling the encampment around 5:45. Hundreds of police are now ringing the campus, keeping a few protesters near Seminary and Fullerton across the street from the campus. The university president has now ordered the closing of all green spaces on campus after the clearing of the quad, and after being fenced off, anyone trespassing on those spaces will be arrested. A driver died after being shot while driving and crashing into several parked cars on the city's south side. Chicago police say it happened around 11:50 last night in the 2400 block of 91st. The family of an assistant principal shot and killed last year inside of a Loop building where he was living is suing. Abner Joseph's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the suspected gunman, building management, and its security.
He was a person that touched many with his smile, his smell, laughter, humor, intelligence, and unwavering support. He truly changed the lives of so many people who knew him.
Joseph's sister, Gina Joseph Kelly. 2 people are in custody following a car chase and subsequent search through the west suburbs on Wednesday. Police have yet to reveal their identities. Officers in Oak Brook say burglary and aggravated fleeing charges will be filed against the pair. Charges come after officers began pursuing the pair following a burglary in Lombard. Cubs salvaged their series with the Braves with a 7-1 win in Atlanta. Javier Assad the victory, striking out 7 over 6 scoreless. Tommy Pham and Corey Lee propel the Sox to a 2-0 win over Washington on the south side. Garrett Crochet picked up his 4th win. Fire lost to Charlotte. Sky lost to Dallas. Stanley Cup playoffs. Colorado took down the Stars 5-3. The news, a service of Crosscom Public Adjusters. If your home or business has an insurance claim, Crosscom will help you get what you need and have coming to you. They've helped thousands. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager isn't sure how people vote Democrat.
Has the left given us a non-binary term for mother? My parent, I guess that's it. They're against mother and father. I have read that to you on a number of occasions. And people still vote Democrat. The tragedy is that if the country is destroyed from within, a vast number of good people are going to be hurt.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, business owners, are you wondering how to grow your business? Do you need cash flow and a ready source for financing? Well, Signature Bank can help. Hi, Mike Gallagher here to let you know that Signature Bank's loan decisions are made locally by a team who knows your name, cares about your business, and is invested in your success. When you need advice about your business or even have a question, Signature Bank is there to help. There are no handoffs or call centers. This is a team that wants to get to know you and your business. That's why Signature Bank in Chicago is my bank. That's right. I'm a customer. When I call, someone picks up the phone on the other end. And with Signature Bank, I can securely bank anywhere, anytime. Reach out to my friends at Signature Bank. Call 773-467-5630. That's 773-467-5630. Or visit them online at signaturebank.bank. Signaturebank.bank. Your business could be Signature Bank's next success story. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost.
Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-353-2973. That's 800-353-2973. What do you have to lose? Call 800-353-2973. Again, 800-353-2973.
6:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of scholarships.com. Imagine the news that your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It's avoidable when you join scholarships.com free. That's scholarships.com. Inbound Kennedy O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange. Already at 41 minutes. The Ike right now at 36, 390 into the old post office. Bishop Ford jams into the Ryan merge. Ryan itself right now at 17 and climbing into the Burns Circle interchange. Delays as you roll on the Bishop Ford outbound approaching Michigan Avenue with an accident that has just occurred and a hit and run accident being investigated in Addison this morning, Lake Street just east of I-355. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast in our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center. Here's Steve Williams.
A bit of sun and clouds, a couple of showers, thunderstorm for the afternoon, high 74. Thunder showers this evening, otherwise cloudy, low tonight 59. Patchy fog tomorrow morning, then partly sunny, the high at 78. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 54 degrees. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We're talking before Mike Scott's news about the debates that have been agreed upon between Biden and Trump for June 27th and September 10th. CNN first, ABC next. And in advance of that debate 6 weeks from now, Biden's probably going to want to have more to say about the lawlessness he has engendered with his importation of millions of people from the world over into this country illegally by opening the border. And so there seems to be a reversal of course that is about to transpire. Biden, it's reported, planning executive action to shut down the U.S.-Mexico border once the number of migrant crossings reaches 4,000 people per day. So after 4,000, now we shut the border.
A day, though? We're still going to let 4,000 a day come in? That's not really shutting down the border. I mean, it's something, but I don't want to celebrate that.
Well, it's nothing to celebrate, except it's to celebrate the recognition that he was lying. They all were lying when they said, we need Congress to act to bring order to the border. We need Congress to act. We have this bipartisan legislation that was cooked up by Schumer and McConnell in the Senate, and we just need those recalcitrant MAGA Republicans in the House to act, and we can do something meaningful at the border and provide more money for border patrol and so on and so forth. Well, that legislation would have made deportations mandatory when illegal crossings surpassed 5,000 per day over a 1 week period. So now he is going to do, by executive order, shut it down after 4,000 a day.
Oh, my God.
So
Trump needs to get ready to attack and say, oh, so you didn't need congressional approval
to
shut down the border. And he better be all over that.
Well, he'll be everybody will be all over it from now until June 27th through June 27th to the November election. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line, because this opens Biden up to not only that criticism of his either lies or incompetence or incompetent lies, it also opens him up to the question, what's the magic number about 4,000? Well, shouldn't we be going for zero illegal crossings on a daily basis, on a weekly, a monthly, annual basis? We should be going for zero, right? When the rule of law, we don't try to prosecute murderers after we've reached a certain number of murders. We prosecute all the murderers, right? That's what the rule of law is.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also text us. Our text line is up and running. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
This, is still sort of a political football, although, I'm not really that impressed with this. This was generating a lot of chatter online yesterday, which is largely what this legislation was designed to do. Bill aimed at deporting illegal immigrants out of the United States if they assault a police officer passed the House last night. One of several pieces of legislation House Republicans are putting up for vote this week as part of National Police Week. What is that? We're going to introduce legislation now to deport people who commit these certain crimes against these certain individuals and not the same crimes against other individuals because it's National Police Week.
Yay.
That's what you do during National Police Week. You introduce police-related legislation. How about doing this on a routine basis in a way that makes sense and that responds to the particular exigencies of the day rather than waiting for these designated weeks or days to play identitarian politics, and this is of a kind, with police or anybody else. It's just
it's so embarrassing. Be better.
You don't get it. It just doesn't get it. Now, and this, of course, was to put 148 Democrats on the hot seat, the 148 Democrats who voted against this, because now, at least if you, and I didn't look at the roll call, but I'm sure there are some vulnerable Democrats on that list who are so ideologically whipped they can't help themselves. So now you've got a bullet point for a TV spot or for a mail piece. They, Representative so-and-so voted against legislation that would have deported people in this country illegally who assault police officers. And I'm for that. So we need to get rid of Democrat, socialist, so-and-so. It's just, you're marginally better than the open borders crowd when you play this issue like that, as far as I'm concerned. Marginally better. It's cheap theatrical politics. It is not substantive. It doesn't come across as serious. What would have come across as serious? What does come across as serious?
What?
Using the power that you have to shut everything down until we get seriousness at the border with respect to enforcement. And, by the way, House Republicans have the purse strings. So they didn't want to do that because that's too much, but they can do symbolic legislation that panders to police. I'm not impressed.
Meanwhile,
really not impressed.
Meanwhile, a deaf woman in Santa Fe, New Mexico, was repeatedly brutally raped by 3 migrant men here illegally from Guatemala. One went back to Guatemala because the other 2 were convicted the other day, but they forced the woman into a vehicle. They, quote unquote, treated her like meat among a pack of wolves, a multi-hour nightmare for her as she was gang raped by 4 men here illegally.
Yeah, but
just wait until Police Awareness Week to pass something?
Well, that's already against the law. And those people should already be, that anybody who commits a violent crime, Class X felony, should be deported. But we don't do that.
No, we don't do that.
So that's an enforcement problem. That is not a lawmaking problem. This is sort of special legislation, for the purposes of pandering, as I said. But, here again is what we go back to what the big guy says about all these people in the country illegally.
Can you imagine a kid 2 years old saying, "Mom, don't take me across Rio Grande. It's against the law." Give me a break. These have been model citizens.
Right.
Oh,
every
DACA,
every kid who's been brought here by their parents illegally is a model citizen. That's just not true.
No, they're not sending us their best folks.
Again, it's there's no need to paint with a broad brush because there's just no need. Yeah, some are good people and people that would add to the rich tapestry of America, and some are not. And you can go do story after story every single day, like the one that Amy just told, and nothing is done. And it's not a matter of legislation. It's a matter of enforcement. It's a political will problem, not a lack of legal authority problem. And when House Republicans do what they did yesterday, they confuse the issue, don't they? In addition to that, they direct attention away from where attention needs to be focused. One is on public safety, and not just for police officers, for everyone. Number 2 is, this other matter of trying to import an electorate. Peter Schweitzer, of course, the author of best-selling books on all the plutocrats in the ruling class in D.C. Biden border crisis could increase number of illegal ballots cast in 2024 up to 2.7 million. If that's even ballpark, combined with whatever big tech is going to do, those nice leads that Biden enjoys in places like in swing states like Nevada and Georgia and North Carolina right now, they can go away pretty quickly for those that are ready to measure the drapes for Trump. Academic study based on surveys done by the Cooperative Congressional Election Study showed evidence that non-citizens are voting in our elections in meaningful numbers. Oh. We brought this to you earlier in the week. Between 10 and 27% of non-citizens surveyed were registered to vote, and as many as 13% of them, those registered, actually cast ballots. So this is where legislation is sort of appropriate, but you're not going to get it passed. Speaker Johnson introduced legislation requiring proof of citizenship before registering to vote. You've got an inquiry that has been launched into what federal agencies are doing when it comes to vote registration and related activities. But again, per case law, many states, proof of citizenship is not required, apart from attesting that the person is a U.S. citizen. Sometimes people aren't honest. Imagine that. So, this is where I think you need to focus the conversation, and you need to challenge Biden in a debate setting, Democrats in these races up and down the ballot, and generally just the nature of the national dialogue on this topic. The pedestrian things that everybody's heard, but are actually pretty powerful. You need a voter ID to do all of these things in America, to access all of these benefits in America, but not to vote? Why? Why would you want to make elections less secure? And if you're going to give me that disenfranchising argument, really? So those same people that we're saying should present ID to vote, meaning everyone, are the people that access all of these benefits and privileges and abide all these requirements to fly around, board an airplane, to get transfer payments from federal and state government agencies, to do so many things. So, don't patronize them and don't patronize us. That's a lie. So if you want to claim, as like you're an elected official in New York City or New York State, that black people are incapable of obtaining and presenting an ID card,
and black kids don't know what a computer is,
then you go ahead and make that argument, and we'll expose you as the racist you are, the ignoramus that you are. It's just, there's so much in this topic area, and I think it needs to be a little bit more focused. So let's pick out, talk about all aspects of it. Let's pick up one or two of the most pernicious and dangerous aspects to really drive. Like I said before, the focus to me should be, look, I'm not DACA, migrant worker programs, pathways. We're not having any conversation about it until the federal government proves to Americans it can accomplish a simple task. Every person convicted of a violent crime in this country who is here illegally is gone.
Yeah.
They're deported.
End of story.
Show me that, because we have the data on the tens of thousands of people that fit that description that are still in this country. We have stories also that are coming out on a daily basis, not necessarily this egregious, but of this kind. This from Boston, where this individual was arrested after being released by ICE.
News Nation has learned his extensive criminal history, dating back to his childhood, was shared with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. He walked free anyway and was trusted to come back to court on his own accord. News Nation's Allie Bradley is live for us in Del Rio, Texas. Allie, why did ICE release this man?
Yeah, so Elizabeth, ICE knowingly released this convicted killer because of a lack of bed space. Now, this really is a testament to what happens when there is an overwhelming surge at the southern border. This man subsequently released because they just couldn't find space for him.
Oh, my God. I'd build a bunk to keep him in there.
A convicted murderer from Colombia who ICE knew was a convicted murderer, and they don't know what to do with this guy. They don't have room, so they release him. He's ultimately picked up 8 months later in Boston by ICE. And ICE comes forward and says he shouldn't have been released. Yeah, no kidding.
Really?
The question is not what shouldn't be happening. That is why does it continue to happen? So, like, that's the thing. If you can't accomplish that, to remove a convicted murderer that Colombia wants back, by the way, if you can't remove a convicted murderer that his country of origin wants back and that we don't want here, if you can't accomplish that task, then what are we talking about? Mike in the Loop, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, if you attended that White House Correspondents' Dinner in D.C., you needed an ID to get in there. But you don't need an ID to determine the future of the country. This is so upside down, it's nuts.
Well, these illegals don't need an ID to get on a plane.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Well, right, the special lines that have been documented that we've seen, but and they also don't need a ticket because we're flying them around at taxpayer expense.
Right.
But that's Mike's reaction is exactly my point. It's so commonsensical. It's so obvious. Just keep it simple and focus on these one or two things that are just, there is no credible alternative view. And drive them relentlessly. You want to talk about this? We could talk about all that, but just explain to me this. If you can't do this, if we can't collectively do that, then we don't have anything else to talk about. You, or not, at least not with you, if those are your positions, because you're completely unserious on the topic. We have to get people in office that we can have serious conversations with, that we can do things like deport convicted murderers that their country of origin want, that can force people to present IDs before they vote, because that's just best practices when it comes to maintaining the integrity of our elections. I mean, if that's something that you think is controversial, then we don't have time to talk to you. We have to find serious people we can talk to and we can put in office and we can press up to make policy. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down, because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
All right, I'm looking forward to it and hope you are too. Our annual AM 560 golf outing sponsored by Signature Bank. And this year we're once again partnering with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. This great organization helps provide for our first responders, military heroes, including our homeless vets. So we're excited to help raise money for them. Coming up on Wednesday, June 19th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. We have foursomes, we have twosomes available. So sign up now, and when you join us, proceeds from your donation will go to Tunnel for Towers. But also, if you own a business or make marketing decisions for a company, guess what? We will give you 25 one-minute commercials that will air right here on AM 560, Monday through Friday. It is the best deal in all of Chicagoland radio. So get on it. You'll be doing three things: helping Tunnel to Towers, you'll be having a fun day at McRae Golf Club, and we can help you elevate and take your business to the next level. Here's what you do. Go to.
Also, you're going to reprise your award-winning Linda Ronstadt karaoke.
That's right.
Over at lunch, aren't you? That did you take second prize? At,
no, we came.
Legends?
It was Robin Mead and I.
Uh-huh.
We performed at Legends. We practiced once. We nailed it, Dan. You would have been very proud, and it was a big crowd pleaser. But we came in second place, and we sang Linda Ronstadt.
What was that? What was the prize? A set of steak knives?
Pardon? Steak knives.
What was the prize?
I think we got free drinks.
Well, you would have got those anyway at Legends.
But it was fun. And then when Robin Mead turned 50, she invited me to her birthday party in Atlanta. And we sang it. We redid it. We relived the magic.
Wow.
Got up there. It was riveting. It was
fun.
She's a good person. You would love her if you met
it's
her.
Like Nancy and Ann Wilson. I mean, just the another rock sisterhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, back to our golf outing. Dan,
yeah.
it's a great networking opportunity as well. We'll have over 200 attendees, business owners, decision makers, influencers who are like-minded and want to support Tunnel to Towers and AM 560. Do it now, 560theanswer.com/golf. That's where you sign up, 560theanswer.com/golf. Admit it, this is the worst time of year to be suffering with joint pain. You can't enjoy outdoors like you used to. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and if you're tired of achy joints, contact my friends at QC Kinetics before you agree to surgery, steroids, or medications. That's what tens of thousands of real-life patients around the country did, like Robert. Robert's a retired Marine and business owner. Robert had debilitating shoulder pain and couldn't take time away from work to have surgery. So he heard about QC Kinetics and how elite athletes were using these treatments for joint pain. Now Robert feels much better thanks to his treatments at QC Kinetics. And you know what? I'd love to talk about your success story next. So don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today. The consultation's free with Saturday appointments available. Call 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. Again, 312-809-5955.
In the fast-paced rhythm of life, where demands can be relentless and time is precious, prioritizing your well-being can be hard. Not to worry. Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements are convenient and easy to add to any schedule. Paired with eating more fresh produce, regular exercise, and a positive mindset, Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements can help you keep your rhythm. Whether it be excelling in your day-to-day or just living in the moment, start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Is that Amy and Robin Meade right there?
There you go.
No way. Nice try.
Oh, yeah, come on. No, you know what? I'll try and find the video and I'll tweet it out, I guess.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Oh,
Sorry.
so rude. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
At 6:36, it is commencement address time for those colleges that are still having commencement events because, some can't anymore. And so thinking about the great commencement speeches of the recent past, I know everybody immediately thinks Steve Jobs at Stanford. There's another commencement speech in 2005 by a gentleman named David Foster Wallace, the author of Infinite Jest. He gave a commencement in 2005 at Kenyon College. I think it's particularly relevant today. So we'll review what David Foster Wallace, one of the great writers who died tragically at his own hands at way too young an age, what he had to say to the graduating class in 2005 that has applicability in 2024. We'll do that at 6:36.
And there's another commencement speech that was given that is breaking up friendships. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
6:33 on AM 560, The Answer. DePaul University President Robert Manuel has ordered the clearing out of pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas protesters from the Quad on the Lincoln Park campus. Chicago police moved in and began dismantling the encampment around 5:45 this morning. Hundreds of police are ringing the campus, keeping a few protesters at Seminary and Fullerton across the street from the campus for now. The university president has ordered the closing of all green spaces on campus after clearing of the Quad and after being fenced off. Anyone trespassing on those spaces will be arrested, and in several of those spaces, the fencing is already up. The Biden campaign is accusing Donald Trump of playing games with presidential debates. This after Donald Trump says he will participate in a third debate hosted by Fox News in October. Fox's Jared Halperin more on the debate over debates from the White House.
The Biden and Trump campaigns went from no
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice.
The two candidates both say they will participate in a CNN debate in Atlanta on June 27th and an ABC News debate September 10th. Former President Trump is calling for additional debates in July and August, a proposal the president's team is not accepting. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Hospital officials say Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico is in serious but stable condition. The populist leader was shot multiple times in an assassination attempt on Wednesday. A driver died after being shot while driving and crashing into several parked cars on the city's south side, according to Chicago police. Crash happened around 11:50 last night in the 2400 block of 91st. CPD detectives are investigating that as a homicide. Chicago Public School teachers and staff are asking lawmakers downstate for more funding. 600 were on hand in Springfield yesterday, lobbying state legislatures like State Senator Sue Rezin, who says she and Senate Republicans can't believe hundreds of teachers took a taxpayer-funded day off in the middle of the week to protest instead of staying in the classroom.
On top of that, you have substitute teachers that are being paid to fill in the positions while the teachers are gone.
State Senator Don DeWitt said for many years, CPS has received a disproportionate share of the state's education resources through special carve-outs and unique grants. For example, CPS gets the Chicago Block Grant, a $200 million bump written into CPS's base as part of the evidence-based formula.
Try to bully lawmakers into more money. They claim they are being shortchanged.
State contributions to CPS have increased 14% since 2019. Also since 2019, there has been an 11% decline in enrollment. Cubs beat Atlanta 7-1, while the White Sox blanked Washington 2-0. The News is a service of Charles Equipment, keeping the lights on when unexpected storms cause a loss of power at your business. Get help quickly at charlesequipment.com. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum can see the trend.
All of this in an attempt to destroy Donald Trump's reputation and destroy him for being the president of the United States of America. But it's not working, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the polls. Donald Trump is up. If the man is getting indicted 450,000 times and he's going up in the polls, that tell you that American people aren't buying the bull crap that they're throwing out. Joe Biden is a dead man walking. Everybody can see it. Everybody knows it. Your mama, your grandma, your cousin, them.
The Officer Tatum Show, weeknights at 8, right before Sean Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Spring cleaning is here. Time to brighten up those dirty rugs and carpeting. Dogs, cats, food, drinks. They can really make a mess. Look down. Are you happy how your carpets and rugs look? Let Executive Green Carpet Cleaning show you how clean really looks. Executive Green Carpet Cleaning. They're local, family-owned, and take pride in customer satisfaction, positive reviews, referrals, and working with AM 560 listeners. Right now, if you mention AM 560, you'll receive 15% off all cleaning services.
Hi, this is Kelly from Executive Green Carpet Cleaning. As a proud supporter of AM 560, allow my family the invitation into your home or business to show you what clean really looks like. Carpets, area rugs, upholstery, tile and grout, and wood floor cleaning. We do it all.
Call or text Kelly today to schedule a free quote. 630-990-8600. Mention AM 560 to receive 15% off. Call or text 630-990-8600 or schedule online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
In the fast-paced rhythm of life, where demands can be relentless and time is precious, prioritizing your well-being can be hard. Not to worry. Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements are convenient and easy to add to any schedule. Paired with eating more fresh produce, regular exercise, and a positive mindset, Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements can help you keep your rhythm. Whether it be excelling in your day-to-day or just living in the moment, start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751. or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code EARN.
640. Let's check the roads in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. This update, a service of Discover. We all like having options. One option you might like is speaking with a real person when you call about your credit card. With 24/7 live U.S.-based customer service from Discover, everyone can talk to a real person anytime, day or night. Limitations do apply. Discover.com/credit card. Let's go to the Stevenson this morning. It's 1 hour in from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Lots of folks on the inbound side looking at an outbound accident. The accident between Central and Harlem Avenue. It's all tied up there on the outbound side of the Stevenson. I-57, an accident inbound between or right near 111th, and you're jammed into the Ryan Merge right now. Tri-State, stop-and-go traffic between the Reagan I-88 and the Ike Merge. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, turning cloudy. There is a chance of showers and maybe a thunderstorm this afternoon. High 74. Currently 53. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Health Quest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. Saturday mornings at 11. Visit healthquestradio.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. 'Tis the season of commencement addresses. We went through Harrison Butker's, the one he gave at Benedictine College in Kansas on Monday, I guess it was. And he's getting a lot of heat from that because Butker's a committed Christian, and he spoke about his faith and living his faith and challenging others, including the clergy, bishops, the hierarchy of the churches, to live their faith too in a way that they haven't. And
I just wanted to get this out there. It was
Of
that,
course.
because we played that, but there was another part of his commencement speech that now has women's hair on fire, and it is breaking up friendships. Let me play it for you real quick. Oh, no. Dan.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, here it is. That women should be in the kitchen? No, that's not what he said.
I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school.
You know the rest, but people they want the Chiefs to fire him. They're calling him a vile person, misogynistic prick, telling graduates that women should be homemakers. He didn't say that. He said what is true for a lot of us women who also have careers is that, yes, we dream of having a family and having children.
Who is the they? The Twitter mob?
The Twitter mob, but also friends.
So what?
I mean, my friends, Justin's friends. Somebody tweeted out yesterday.
Do you and Justin share friends?
No, but in his friend circle, this was a big topic. In my friend circle, a big topic. I'm in a chat group with 30 people, and somebody put that quote out saying, not on my team next year for fantasy football, exclamation point. And then, I texted back, what's wrong with being a Christian male who puts God and family first? This Georgia Tech grad, I know, if he has an opinion that doesn't jive with your narrative on life, he should be silenced and his life should be ruined because that's what you people want. And now I don't have friends anymore.
But do you ever pick up a pattern when you tell me about a friend you no longer have, and I have to explain to you how that wasn't a friend, and why do you associate with people that cannot tolerate a different point of view on something as relatively benign as Harrison Butker talking about a woman's fulfillment through family? I mean, now I don't have a friend anymore. So what?
I mean, I didn't lose any sleep over it last
Yeah,
night.
well, there you
You
go.
just don't know until, we're in this group chat talking about a friend who's overcoming an illness, and then they drop that. Like, he's not going to be on my fantasy football team
So
anymore.
what? Well,
so appalled.
So what? He threw his rattle at the group. So what?
Yeah, well.
Who cares? This is actually a perfect segue to David Foster Wallace's commencement in 2005, his commencement address to the kids at Kenyon College. Because what you're describing and what you see all the time is people who don't know not just how to think, but what to think about. We talked about this the other day with the Emerson College professor who went through essentially a critical thinking exercise with his student a couple of years back when his student said J.K. Rowling is a bigot because she's not supportive of trans-identitarian politics. And then he went through, his name is Warren Smith, he went through it with his student, and then the student in about 3 minutes did a full 180 because he challenged his thinking and processing and employment of logic and evidence. And he came to a very different conclusion. So, and Warren Smith got fired by Emerson College. Of course he did. So it's the reminder, college and liberal arts education is not to teach you what to think, or tell you what to think, but teach you how to think. And that's sort of a cliche, but it's a cliche that turns out to be true. But it requires a little bit more development, what teaching you how to think actually means. And this is where David Foster Wallace comes in. And for those of you who haven't read Infinite Jest, or his posthumous novel, The Pale King, highly recommend it. I think if you haven't heard of David Foster Wallace before, or read his work, or heard this commencement speech, I think you'll be persuaded. By the way, his parents were academics or his father, I think, at University of Illinois, and his mom was at Parkland. And then he taught at Illinois State for a time, learning how to think.
20 years after my own graduation, I have come gradually to understand that the liberal arts cliche about teaching you how to think is actually shorthand for a much deeper, more serious idea. Learning how to think really means learning how to exercise some control over how and what you think. It means being conscious and aware enough to choose what you pay attention to and to choose how you construct meaning from experience. Because if you cannot exercise this kind of choice in adult life, you will be totally hosed. Think of the old cliche about, quote, the mind being an excellent servant but a terrible master. This, like many cliches, so lame and unexciting on the surface, actually expresses a great and terrible truth. It is not the least bit coincidental that adults who commit suicide with firearms almost always shoot themselves in the head. They shoot the terrible master. And the truth is that most of these suicides are actually dead long before they pull the trigger. And I submit that this is what the real, no bullshit value of your liberal arts education is supposed to be about. How to keep from going through your comfortable, prosperous, respectable adult life dead, unconscious, a slave to your head and to your natural default setting of being uniquely, completely, imperially alone, day in and day out.
Sort of haunting words, because 3 years later, David Foster Wallace killed himself by hanging himself at his home in California. By the way, there's a good movie that was made about David Foster Wallace called The End of the Tour, where Jason Segel, who I normally don't have much use for, at least not since Freaks and Geeks, but he was very good, and it's a very good film. Okay. And Jesse Eisenberg is his cohort there, and I find him annoying generally too. But the two of them together somehow made it work. It was well done. The end of the tour is the movie.
End of the tour.
So that's the setup. Learning how to think, and he really focuses on, for illustrative purposes, the a day in, day out living, the drudgery of daily life that these excited college graduates haven't really experienced quite yet.
There happen to be whole, large parts of adult American life that nobody talks about in commencement speeches. One such part involves boredom, routine, and petty frustration. The parents and older folks here will know all too well what I'm talking about. By way of example, let's say it's an average adult day, and you get up in the morning, go to your challenging white-collar college graduate job, and you work hard for 8 or 10 hours, and at the end of the day you're tired and somewhat stressed, and all you want is to go home and have a good supper and maybe unwind for an hour and then hit the sack early, because of course you have to get up the next day and do it all again. But then you remember there's no food at home. You haven't had time to shop this week because of your challenging job. And so now, after work, you have to get in your car and drive to the supermarket. It's the end of a work day, and the traffic is apt to be very bad. So getting to the store takes way longer than it should. And when you finally get there, the supermarket is very crowded, because of course it's the time of day when all the other people with jobs also try to squeeze in some grocery shopping. And the store is hideously fluorescently lit and infused with soul-killing Muzak or corporate pop. And it's pretty much the last place you want to be. But you can't just get in and quickly out. You have to wander all over the huge, overlit store's confusing aisles to find the stuff you want. And you have to maneuver your junky cart through all these other tired, hurried people with carts, et cetera, cutting stuff out because it's a long ceremony. And eventually, you get all your supper supplies, except now it turns out there aren't enough checkout lanes open, even though it's the end of the day rush. So the checkout line is incredibly long, which is stupid and infuriating. But you can't take your frustration out on the frantic lady working the register, who is overworked at a job whose daily tedium and meaninglessness surpasses the imagination of any of us here at a prestigious college. But anyway, you finally get to the checkout line's front, and you pay for your food and get told to have a nice day in a voice that is the absolute voice of death. And then you have to take your creepy, flimsy plastic bags of groceries in your cart with the one crazy wheel that pulls maddeningly to the left, all the way out through the crowded, bumpy, littery parking lot. And then you have to drive all the way home through slow, heavy, SUV-intensive rush hour traffic, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone here has done this, of course, but it hasn't yet been part of you graduates' actual life routine, day after week, after month, after year. But it will be. And many more dreary, annoying, seemingly meaningless routines besides. But that is not the point. The point is that petty, frustrating crap like this is exactly where the work of choosing is going to come in.
The work of choosing, and so the default setting that tedium leads so many to unconsciously accept.
Because my natural default setting is the certainty that situations like this are really all about me, about my hungriness and my fatigue and my desire to just get home. And it's going to seem for all the world like everybody else is just in my way. And who are all these people in my way? And look at how repulsive most of them are, and how stupid and cow-like and dead-eyed and non-human they seem in the checkout line. Or at how annoying and rude it is that people are talking loudly on cell phones in the middle of the line. And look at how deeply, personally unfair this is. Or, of course, if I'm in a more socially conscious liberal arts form of my default setting, I can spend time in the end-of-the-day traffic being disgusted about all the huge, stupid, lane-blocking SUVs and Hummers and V12 pickup trucks burning their wasteful, selfish 40-gallon tanks of gas. And I can dwell on the fact that the patriotic or religious bumper stickers always seem to be on the biggest, most disgustingly selfish vehicles, driven by the ugliest, this is an example of how not to think. Biggest, most disgustingly selfish vehicles driven by the ugliest, most inconsiderate and aggressive drivers. And I can think about how our children's children will despise us for wasting all the future's fuel and probably screwing up the climate, and how spoiled and stupid and selfish and disgusting we all are, and how modern consumer society just sucks, and so on and so forth. You get the idea.
Right, and do you see how they those seals in the audience inadvertently fell into displaying exactly what he was talking about, the default setting when they started clapping about his exemplary characterization of the SUV driver, and then they just reflexively clap because they're in their default setting.
Yep.
So how do you challenge that default setting? Choosing what to think about.
It's the automatic way that I experience the boring, frustrating, crowded parts of adult life when I'm operating on the automatic, unconscious belief that I am the center of the world and that my immediate needs and feelings are what should determine the world's priorities. The thing is that, of course, there are totally different ways to think about these kinds of situations. In this traffic, all these vehicles stuck and idling in my way, it's not impossible that some of these people in SUVs have been in horrible auto accidents in the past and now find driving so terrifying that their therapist has all but ordered them to get a huge, heavy SUV so they can feel safe enough to drive. Or that the Hummer that just cut me off is maybe being driven by a father whose little child is hurt or sick in the seat next to him, and he's trying to get this kid to the hospital, and he's in a way bigger, more legitimate hurry than I am. It is actually I who am in his way. Or I can choose to force myself to consider the likelihood that everyone else in the supermarket's checkout line is just as bored and frustrated as I am, and that some of these people probably have much harder, more tedious or painful lives than I do. Again, please don't think I'm giving you moral advice, or that I'm saying you're supposed to think this way, or that anyone expects you to just automatically do it, because it's hard. It takes will and effort.
But that's where the real freedom of education comes in. It's doing the hard thinking.
This, I submit, is the freedom of real education, of learning how to be well-adjusted. You get to consciously decide what has meaning and what doesn't. You get to decide what to worship. Because here's something else that's weird but true. In the day-to-day trenches of adult life, there is actually no such thing as atheism. There is no such thing as not worshiping. Everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. And a compelling reason for maybe choosing some sort of God or spiritual type thing to worship, be it JC or Allah, be it Yahweh or the Wiccan Mother Goddess or the Four Noble Truths or some inviolable set of ethical principles, is that pretty much anything else you worship will eat you alive. If you worship money and things, if they are where you tap real meaning in life, then you will never have enough. Never feel you have enough. It's the truth. Worship your own body and beauty and sexual allure, and you will always feel ugly. And when time and age start showing, you will die a million deaths before they finally plant you. On one level, we all know this stuff already. It's been codified as myths, proverbs, cliches, epigrams, parables, the skeleton of every great story. The whole trick is keeping the truth up front in daily consciousness. Worship power, you will end up feeling weak and afraid, and you will need ever more power over others to numb you to your own fear. Worship your intellect, being seen as smart, you will end up feeling stupid, a fraud, always on the verge of being found out. Look, the insidious thing about these forms of worship is not that they're evil or sinful, it is that they are unconscious. They are default settings. They're the kind of worship you just gradually slip into day after day, getting more and more selective about what you see and how you measure value without ever being fully aware that that's what you're doing. And the so-called real world will not discourage you from operating on your default settings, because the so-called real world of men and money and power hums merrily along on the fuel of fear and anger and frustration and craving and the worship of self. Our own present culture has harnessed these forces in ways that have yielded extraordinary wealth and comfort and personal freedom. The freedom all to be lords of our own tiny skull-sized kingdoms, alone at the center of all creation.
But it's that freedom for purposeful thought. That's the core of real education. That's the overriding theme. 2005, Kenyon College, David Forster Wallace.
7 a.m. WIND, Chicago.
Their last witness and will continue testifying this morning, facing more cross-examination from the former president's defense.
Cohen claims he was following Trump's orders when he paid Stormy Daniels to stay silent about her alleged 2006 affair with Trump. But former federal prosecutor and ex-Cohen advisor Robert Costello says the opposite. He testified before the House Weaponization Committee on Capitol Hill Wednesday, saying, quote, Michael Cohen made clear that this payment to Daniels was his own idea.
That's Fox's Brooke Singman. Now, the former president denies falsifying records, reimbursing Cohen to keep Daniels quiet before the 2016 election. President Biden may order a border policy change. The New York Post reports he's planning executive action allowing him to close the border with Mexico if migrant crossings top 4,000 per day. Illegal immigration has slowed since a record was set in December. The U.S. military has completed construction of a floating pier near Gaza anchored to a beach to allow humanitarian aid to flow to Palestinian civilians as Israel's war rages against Hamas.
The floating pier will be used to bring in boatloads of food, medicine and other supplies. The maritime route to Gaza isn't a simple one. There are logistical, weather and security challenges, but land border crossings have been badly affected by the war. American officials admit the operation will carry danger and the safety of U.S. personnel is a top priority. No American troops will set foot on Gaza itself.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The pro-Palestinian protests continue on college campuses. Chicago police are clearing out an encampment at DePaul right now, the day after. Police in riot gear broke up an encampment at the University of California in Irvine, arresting students who refused the school's order to leave. There's a call for calm in Slovakia, where Prime Minister Robert Fico was in serious but stable condition the day after being shot at close range in an assassination attempt. America's listening to Fox News.
53 degrees, partly sunny skies, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. DePaul University President Robert Manuel has ordered the clearing out of pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas protesters from the Quad on the Lincoln Park campus. Chicago police moved in and began dismantling the encampment around 5:45, and that dismantlement continues at this hour. Hundreds of police are ringing the campus, keeping a few protesters at Seminary and Fullerton across the street from the campus. Meantime, the president has ordered the closing of all green spaces on campus after clearing of the Quad and after being fenced off. Anyone trespassing on those spaces will be arrested. A driver died after being shot while driving and crashing into several parked cars on the city's south side. Chicago police tell us it happened around 11:50 last night in the 2400 block of 91st Street. CPD detectives are investigating that as a homicide. The family of an assistant principal shot and killed last year inside of a Loop building where he was living is suing. Abner Joseph's family has filed a wrongful death suit against the suspected gunman, building management, and its security.
He was a person that touched many with his smile, his smell, laughter, humor, intelligence, and unwavering support. He truly changed the lives of so many people who knew him.
Joseph's sister, Gianna Joseph Kelly. His family says he was unarmed and emotionally distressed when he was shot by a neighbor September 14th on the 48th floor of a building at 60 East Monroe. And the Illinois Attorney General's office is asking the Illinois Supreme Court to reverse a controversial lower court ruling. A judge in that case overturned a conviction in the 2013 killing of 15-year-old Hadia Pendleton in Chicago. Mikhail Ward was found guilty in 2018. State prosecutors argued yesterday there was significant evidence of Ward's guilt, even without a possibly tainted confession. Cubs over the Braves 7-1. White Sox blank Washington 2-0. Southsiders visit the Yankees tomorrow. The news, a service of In Grace with Jim Scudder Jr. Now heard on Sunday morning at 6:30 right here on AM 560, The Answer. A check of traffic and weather On the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk says they did this to themselves.
For the past 20 or 30 years, university campuses have been teaching a very specific worldview, that the world is broken between oppressors and oppressed. This is a Marxist way of viewing the world. These universities are being enveloped by a beast of their own making.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
This is a red alert for hardworking Americans who are tired of seeing their freedoms and retirement savings threatened by the globalist agenda. Wealth Protection Research is on a mission to find whistleblowers who are exposing these schemes. Real patriotic financial warriors like Jim Rickards and Porter Stansberry. They're not afraid to tell it like it is and fight back against the system. Now, with the 2024 election storming our way, your IRA and your 401k may be in the crosshairs. That's why we've compiled our 3 favorite ideas into our Election Protection Report. You definitely won't hear any of these in the mainstream news. Get your free copy of our Election Protection Report now. Just text TRUTH to 76626. Plus, today you'll also get a free gold investment kit from our sponsor, Augusta Precious Metals. Text TRUTH to 76626 now and get the free report and gold investment kit. The fight for your financial freedom is on. Text the word TRUTH to 76626.
Standard text and data rates may apply.
7:08. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of Turnkey.pro. Turnkey's real-time threat hunting defends you, your employees, and your customers from vulnerable cyber attacks, malware, phishing scams, and other threats. Turnkey has solutions to protect your business. Visit Turnkey.pro. 8094 report of an accident eastbound between Torrance and Kennedy Avenue. A left lane is blocked. If you're traveling on I-57, report of an accident inbound at 167th, and another accident with a right lane blocked inbound at 107th. Inbound Dan Ryan, climbing right now, 40 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Outbound Stevenson, an accident between Kedzie and Harlem. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast in our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center Steve Williams.
A bit of sun and clouds, a couple of showers, thunderstorm for the afternoon, high 74. Thunder showers this evening, otherwise cloudy, low tonight 59. Patchy fog tomorrow morning, then partly sunny, the high at 78. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
53 right now. Next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business powered by Mirabali Insurance. Sunday evenings at 6.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. We were just talking about cliches that turn out to have more than quotidian value. And David Foster Wallace's 2005 commencement address to Kenyon College that has great applicability today. More cliches that turn out to be true and have real-world applicability. How about never say never? How about never is a long time? Because some never Trumpers are now becoming never Bidens.
Oh, do tell.
Interesting piece by Eli Lake over at the Free Press, Barry Weiss's outlet. Cliff Asness is a Republican donor who says he spent well over 7 figures to support Nikki Haley. And he says that my never again is trumping my never Trump these days. He said, Biden is a huge disappointment, really a moral outrage, with this arms embargo being only the latest and greatest outrage. Despite my long opposition to him, Trump, this makes me more likely, though I haven't quite gotten there yet, to see Trump as the better of two bad alternatives. Major Dem donor, we know him well in Chicago because he owns Univision.
Yes, please.
Haim Sabin wrote of Biden's policy switch last week with the delaying the arms shipment to Israel because he didn't want to see Bibi launch the offensive in Rafah.
Yeah, because he's trying to get voters back from Michigan, yes.
Mr. Sabin, also a billionaire. Let's not forget that there are more Jewish voters who care about Israel than Muslim voters who care about Hamas. Salient point. Bill Ackman, who has been getting mugged every time he turns around by the reality of his affiliation with the Dem Socialists, called the same move that these other two gentlemen mentioned one of the worst acts against an ally of a sitting president ever. Hopefully this means he won't be sitting for longer. Ouch. David Friedman, who served as Trump's ambassador to Israel and has been in touch with many Trump skeptic Jewish donors, told Eli Lake for this piece. Though he has no official role in the campaign, he has seen more Jewish money coming in for Trump in this election. He said, did Friedman, I think the announcement on Wednesday was the last straw for people already leaning very close to going for Trump. There's clearly a change going on. People are active in politics with big money. People who were never Trumpers or reluctant, hold your nose Trumpers, are telling me that Trump has to win. Well, and that may in part explain where Trump stands in the snapshot polling of the day, the best position he's been in 8 years of polling on Trump. And it's not just because of Jewish voters like these individuals profiled in the Eli Lake piece, but it's that same sentiment across different issue sets for different constituencies that are driving sort of the same net conclusion, I would submit. Boy, never Trumpers to never Bidens. Interesting. For more on this and other related matters, including, of course, the debates that are now scheduled, Noah Rothman joins us, senior writer at National Review, author of The Rise of the New Puritans, Fighting Back Against Progressives' War on Fun. Noah, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You know, I don't want to overstate the profile that Eli Lake offers, but it is these little movements in close races across different constituent groups start to add up to, substantial impacts in swing states, don't they?
They do. Depends on the geographic distribution. I'd be very skeptical of the notion that American Jews are becoming blood red Republicans. Pare back that one, especially in part because A, they have historical ties to the Democratic Party, and B, American Jews have a tendency to look skeptically on Israel necessarily, not the existence thereof, but its conduct, especially when it comes to self-defense. Israel as a cause has always had more salience and relevance with American evangelical voters, even than it does necessarily Jews, who are more inclined towards the Republican Party anyway. So it's easy to overstate the case. I mean, Joe Biden's conduct when it comes to his support for the defense of Israel is indefensible, not just from a moral perspective, but from a strategic perspective. It is utterly blind, blinkered, self-contradictory, and self-defeating. So anybody who has an interest in America's national security, in its interest in that region, should probably share, for example, Cliff Asness's comment to Eli. But as Asness said, I'm not there yet. And I think that's pretty relevant. Donald Trump has to make the sale. He can't just count on Joe Biden to do it for him. He's got to create positive reasons for people to reconsider their political affiliations. Joe Biden's creating a lot of negative ones, but Donald Trump has to capitalize on it.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, it's two incumbents, so it's not like it's just a referendum on the incumbent, although it is somewhat a referendum on their respective records, and this is where you see movement in Trump's direction. And so what's your sort of analysis of why Trump accepted the debate challenge from Biden with the networks that are going to be sponsoring and the moderators that are going to be moderating? Sort of the terms that at first blush seem pretty favorable to Biden.
They seem incredibly favorable to Biden. I was shocked, frankly, the extent to which the campaign just jumped on these terms and appeared to have no reservations about them. I imagine in the light of day today, that decision probably doesn't seem especially wise. As you said, Joe Biden gets to pick the networks essentially. He's limited roughly, the criteria limits it to roughly 4 networks. It says the moderators have to have their own stable of staff, on those networks, as opposed to outside contributors like, for example, Hugh Hewitt, who was brought in to moderate the NBC debate. No audience, which Donald Trump thrives on. He thrived absolutely building on the energy of a live audience. Without that, he's at a real deficit. And Joe Biden's going to do his best to get under Donald Trump's skin and try to expose this intemperance that was one of his real deficits in 2020. And he's going to have ample opportunities to do that. So Donald Trump needs to be very well coached for this thing to try to bring it back constantly to the fact that Joe Biden's managing a failed presidency. Well, Joe Biden's going to try to avoid that. But one more thing is that the reaction that I saw from Donald Trump personally when he got this invitation in a comment to Fox News was really inauspicious in my view. He said, "Crooked Joe Biden is the worst debater I have ever faced. He can't put 2 sentences together." Direct quote. 100%. That is the exact wrong thing to do. Wrong thing to do.
100%.
What they did ahead of the State of the Union. And Joe Biden showed up. He had a 24-hour nap. They shot him full of B12, and he was able to stand on stage for 2 hours. That's the bar he cleared. It was an incredibly low threshold. They need to be building up the threshold. Say, listen, Joe Biden, we know Joe Biden can perform for 2 hours.
Yep.
But we've seen him. We've all seen him. It's not 2 hours. This is a 24-hour-a-day job, and he can't perform in that job. That's what they need to be saying between now and June, not he's going to fail. Because when he doesn't fail, when he fails to spontaneously combust on stage, then they've already set the terms for his success.
Right. Well, what about like the microphones that cut off automatically when a speaker isn't called on? Because it sounds like there's going to be actually no debate.
Right. No back and forth. Yeah, and Joe Biden doesn't want any sort of interaction. Obviously, who wouldn't? But that's the sort of thing that you shouldn't agree to.
Right.
Exactly. Right. When I think about this, I don't understand why they agreed to all their terms without any provisos.
I think that there maybe part of it is just he offered this thing. I want a piece of this guy. I want him on the debate stage. And if I say no because I'm disagreeing about the format or the network, then he's going to say, well, there's my excuse to not debate. And I tried, and Trump is the one who doesn't want to debate, and so on and so forth. I mean, I think that gamesmanship is probably not a compelling enough reason to not be a little bit stronger in the counter demands, though. I mean, I agree with you. And the other thing too, and this has been my sort of my repeated admonition to the Republican Party going back to 2020. Why are you lowering the expectations for this guy and raising the expectations for Trump that he's going to come in there and wipe the floor with him? Why don't you just start from the premise of the left? If Ali Mayorkas says this is an exacting intellectual dynamo, then I accept what his party says about him. That's what he is. This is going to be very tough. He is Scrappy Scranton Joe. He's going to give me everything he's got. And so, I mean, it's just so easy to properly calibrate expectations here.
That's exactly right. And I think to your point about the extent to which the Trump camp was afraid that if they tried to establish any terms on their own, that it would look like backtracking, because the former president has been challenging Joe Biden to debates for months now on end. And when he finally gets one, then he says, "Oh, well, I don't want this, that, and the other thing." Maybe, but I think that overthinks things a little bit. I would imagine that most Americans, if not all Americans, understand that the party here who's going to be who's more imperiled by being on that stage speaking extemporaneously for 2 hours is Joe Biden. I think everybody understands that. So even if the president were to come back with, say, let's have this or the other term changed modestly in my favor, I don't think that would have registered with voters as backtracking necessarily. All Americans are going to watch this like you watch a high wire act. We're going to be watching it through gritted teeth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Clenching our fists and hoping desperately that nobody succumbs to some sort of a disaster on that stage.
Well, he's got to hit with the facts. I mean, he can't come. He's like, what was the inflation rate when you took office, President Biden? What was it? Because he believes it was at 9% when it was at 2%. I mean, just get him on the facts and make him look. We'll just expose all the lies, don't you think?
Be prepared to fact check him in real time, and be prepared to endure a lot of efforts to incite him into emotional outbursts.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going to be Joe Biden's strategy.
Well, and it's also going to be Jake Tapper.
Very well coached.
It's going to be Jake Tapper and Dana Bash's strategy too.
Well, I mean, hopefully, so since Candy Crowley's very infamous interjection in the 2012 debate, where she tried to do some live fact-checking, moderators from all the networks have been very conscious about avoiding that, intervening so egregiously on behalf of one candidate. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't expect to see the moderators make themselves into the main attraction here during this debate, which is why it's incumbent on Donald Trump to be that well-informed. They'll try to, again, without the audience, it's a very different affair here. This is going to be far more downbeat, I would imagine, than past debates on what we're used to, the spectacle, the combat. So I don't know what to expect.
But you don't have to interject. I mean, you just phrase the question in a way that is, provocative to try to. You don't need to interject. In fact, you just fact check in the question. Donna, you repeatedly claim election irregularities. The vote wasn't fair in 2020. Blah blah blah. But you went through court. The courts didn't find anything. You keep repeating them. Why do you keep repeating things you know to be untrue? Questions like that, right?
That'll happen, and they'll probably. And you could say that same thing to Joe Biden. And there'll probably be pointed questions to Joe Biden as well. Mr. President, you inherited the inflation was at 2% when you came into office, and then it spiked as a result of X, Y, Z. And you say that it has everything to do with Putin or what have you. How do you explain this? That sort of thing I would expect. Pointed questions are certainly going to be delivered to both candidates for sure.
Well,
but the framing, as you say, is most likely going to favor a Democratic narrative, and it's incumbent on Donald Trump to keep reminding the voters of the presidency, the acts of the president that have been injurious to your political and economic health, while Joe Biden consistently attempts to remind voters of the style, comportment, and behavioral deficiencies that the voters turned against in 2020. That's what he's going to try to remind everybody of. He's not going to want to talk about his presidency, so Donald Trump will have to do his best to talk only and exclusively about Joe Biden's record.
Yeah, no, they're all going to say, why did you try to overthrow the government in 2020? Go. But something else I wanted to get your view on, the timing of it. Man, I mean, a June 27th presidential debate, that even with early voting being backed out, that's still really early.
No, they're both presumptive nominees.
Yeah,
they wouldn't even have secured the nomination of their respective parties.
Yeah, but if you think Biden tanks, that they'll try and replace him at the DNC here in Chicago?
I don't. I think that's a fantasy. There will definitely be talk. I mean, if he just completely face plants on that stage, there will definitely be panic. But part of the strategy, as some have speculated, and I think it's reasonable speculation, is that having this so early gives it time to fade as a memory.
Yeah.
And not be as relevant to voters in November. There's also the September debate, which will be far more relevant by the time voting gets around. But yeah, this foray into this exercise, I think, is probably just an attempt to test the waters, allay some concerns from Democrats. Again, back to that State of the Union. Democrats were ebullient with Joe Biden's performance, merely because he showed up.
Right.
Merely because it demonstrated that he could stand there for 2 hours and be reasonably cogent in ways that they didn't even know was possible. The bar is set so low for Joe Biden's success. The goal between now, for Republicans, the goal between now and June 27 is not to say this guy is an empty suit who can barely stand on his 2 feet. It's to say that, yes, he's an accomplished debater who's been in the political arena for 50 years. He's a very accomplished politician. He knows how to navigate these environments. But it's only these environments that he knows how to navigate. And you know as well as I do that he is not up for this job and the demanding nature of it over the course of an entire 4-year term. He can't do that. He can do this. And that's what they need to start prepping the beaches for. Some sort of a narrative that says, okay, Joe Biden performed okay today, but will he perform okay for the next 4 years?
Do you think this moves up or moves back Trump's timeline and announcing a running mate? Does he want the running mate to be part of the discussion of that debate, or does he want to put it off until after the debate and before the convention?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know why it would be a relevant factor to a presidential debate. Really?
Well, because they're both done. Because they're both done after the next term. Whoever gets it, they're done. So you're already thinking about succession.
We are.
Yeah.
Are they?
Well, I mean,
I have seen no indication that Donald Trump is interested in grooming a successor.
Well, no, I don't.
Certainly not for Joe Biden.
Well, but I think voters are. I mean, you see it with the desire for DeSantis, and you all that talk during the primary of Trump can serve 2 years. I'm not saying this was going to happen, but Trump can serve 2 years and then turn it over to DeSantis and he can have 10. Or they want DeSantis now, or J.D. Vance because he's a 40-year-old heir to the America First policy agenda and so forth. So, I mean, I think a lot of voters are thinking about that because they know these are two octogenarians, basically, and we're going to have somebody else after whoever wins.
It is just not in his character to share the spotlight. And the second he names a successor as a successor, not a vice presidential candidate, then the focus shifts from Donald Trump to the future. And I just don't think that's in him. I don't think he wants to relinquish the spotlight. Which is why I don't suspect that who he's going to choose as the running mate is necessarily going to be a person to assume the MAGA mantle and move it on into the 2030s. I really don't.
Well, who do you think it's going to be?
Look for somebody who, I'd have no idea. My speculation on that isn't even informed speculation. But my impression of him as not a political actor, but as a personality, is that he wants to retain the center of attention and be the focus of attention, and not necessarily to say, this is all on him now. I'm retreating back to retiring to my fields like a patrician.
No, I agree with that. But I mean, but he is going to have a running mate, and that's going to be part of the conversation, and it necessarily implicates the future. So it's just a question of whether he wants to sort of include that as an asset in advance of the first debate, or if he wants to wait and roll that out at the convention. I'd just be interesting to see what the thinking is.
Typically, the convention and the party itself has a pretty big role in the nomination process.
That's true.
But this will tell you a lot. This will tell you a lot about where Donald Trump's head is at and where he thinks the future of his movement is going. If he selects a really competent, accomplished, capable Republican politician with party credentials, and who is not just a creature of the Trump era, who actually has some roots in the Republican Party status quo ante, or if he chooses somebody who mimics his style, his affectation, and is more than willing to just serve as a second fiddle to the second Trump presidency, eventually to assume, it's the command of the movement. But if he chooses somebody who just really accentuates his own personality traits and features and is slavishly obedient to him, I think it'll tell you a lot about where the movement is going, or perhaps not going.
Noah Rothman, senior writer at National Review, author of The Rise of the New Puritans, Fighting Back Against Progressives' War on Fun. Noah, thanks as always.
Thank you.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Donald Trump Jr. here. Since January of 2021, the cost of living has increased by 17.9%. You can't get that money back, but you can stop your losses by diversifying into a gold IRA from my friends at Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold now.
Message and data rates may apply.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at crosscominc.com. That's crosscominc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Brandon Tatum weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by Charlie Kirk at 7. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
BLM Brandon is starting a trend. Massachusetts politicians, including Frances Parker Spice of the Socialist Spice Girls, now going after ShotSpotter in their states. We'll have that at 7:37.
And remember Dylan Mulvaney? Well, not welcome in one country. We'll tell you why. But now let's head into the newsroom. The newsroom? I meant the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott. Good morning, Mike.
57 degrees at 7:32. The Slovak Interior Ministry said moments ago that a lone wolf has now been charged in the shooting that seriously wounded Prime Minister Robert Fico. Fico remains in serious but stable condition. Former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen returns to the witness stand this morning in the Trump hush money trial. On Tuesday, Cohen was grilled by defense attorney Todd Blanche, testifying that he made about $400,000 from his book, Revenge. Police in riot gear have cleared pro-Palestinian protesters from the campus of UC Irvine. This professor was with the demonstrators and was arrested.
I'm out here supporting my students who have the right to peacefully protest. And unlike the people who are escorting me right now, I think they're people. My students are not interested in violence.
Dozens of protesters on Wednesday violently occupied a building at the university near Los Angeles. The LA Times says it took about 200 police officers to move the crowd and take down tents. And there is violence raging across New Caledonia for the third consecutive day, where France has imposed a state of emergency in that French Pacific territory. Authorities boosted security forces' powers to quell deadly unrest in the archipelago, where residents have long sought independence from France. DePaul University's President Robert Manuel has ordered the clearing out of pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas protesters from the quad on the Lincoln Park campus. Chicago police moved in about 5:45. Hundreds of police continue to ring the campus and keep a few protesters off campus. They're staging at Seminary and Fullerton across the street. University president has also ordered the closing of all green spaces on campus after the clearing of the quad. Everything will be fenced off, and anyone trespassing on those spaces will be arrested. A driver is dead after being shot while traveling through a neighborhood on Chicago's South Side and then crashing into several parked cars. The crash happened around 11:50 last night in the 2400 block of 91st. CPD detectives are investigating that as a homicide. Mike Tauchman crushed a leadoff home run. The Cubs never looked back in a 7-1 win over Atlanta, while Tommy Pham and Corey Lee propelled the White Sox to a 2-0 win over Washington on the South Side. Bears finally have their schedule out for the 2024 NFL season. Season opens at home against Tennessee. Bears also have 3 primetime games. The news, a service of Turnkey.pro. Turnkey's real-time threat hunting defends you, your employees, and your customers from vulnerable cyber attacks. Shield your complete infrastructure with malware, phishing scams, and other threats. Visit Turnkey.pro. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher hasn't seen anything like what we're seeing.
Colleges all over America are under siege by people who hate Israel and the Jews. And a whole bunch of faculty members are supporting it. It's wild what we're witnessing right now in this country. It's off the charts wild.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Support our police and hire the police to personally protect you. You've watched the news. Rising crime has been affecting our everyday lives in Illinois more and more these days. Blue Star Security can protect you, your business, or your place of worship. Blue Star Security is the only security company in Chicago with over 900 off-duty police officers, all W-2 employees.
I'm Anthony Varchetto, president of Blue Star Security and a 20-year law enforcement veteran. The Blue Star team is made up of over 900 state-certified active and retired law enforcement professionals. We serve businesses and private organizations with supply chain and special event security, and also protect our loved ones at places of worship and schools all across the Chicagoland area. Blue Star Security's technology allows mobilization of off-duty officers quickly and efficiently. Our primary mission is to provide unparalleled protective services for each assignment with integrity, while maintaining our commitment to community service in the Chicagoland area.
Visit online to schedule a free security consultation at BlueStarSecurityLLC.com. That's BlueStarSecurityLLC.com.
This is Jerry Boyer for Townhall.com. The battle between red states and giant Wall Street firms pushing ESG, environmental, social, and governance investing, looks on the surface like it's just about the anti-fossil fuel agenda, but it's really much deeper. It's an anti-human life agenda. BlackRock's CEO recently told the World Economic Forum that depopulation is good for the economy.
I could argue in the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations. These countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology.
BlackRock and other enormous Wall Street firms are members of a net zero business alliance, which openly admits that their commitment to zero carbon emissions requires significant cutbacks in food production, as well as population control, including 500 million fewer Africans in 2050. That's why they push abortion. ESG is, simply put, anti-human.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Oh, it's been actually really good. I'm 81 years old. I'm a retired nurse, and I have found, I've taken it for about 5 years, I do feel better. At first, there wasn't a drastic change, but I found it really has made, a difference in my lifestyle. It does improve our quality of life.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
7:39, Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is service of scholarships.com. Imagine news your college student doesn't have years and years of school debt. It's avoidable when you join scholarships.com free. That's scholarships.com. Grays Lake. Good morning. Report of an accident. Route 60 east of Wilson. Schaumburg, Plum Grove, and Algonquin. Report of an accident being swept out of your way. 8094. Accident. Left lane block eastbound between the Bishop Ford and Kennedy Avenue. Jammed up and slow on the Tri-State this morning northbound right at I-88. DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Heavy and slow in the roadwork zone northbound between Oakwood and the Stevenson. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast in our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center. Cloudy, couple of showers, and a thunderstorm could happen this afternoon. A high near 74. Storms and rain showers overnight under mostly cloudy skies, and a low of 59. 57 right now. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, Sundays noon to 1. Learn more online at mwmfinancial.tax.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The topic of ShotSpotter, not limited to Chicago, to no one's surprise. If there's some idiotic policy being pursued by Chicago's ruling class, you can be sure they either got it from someone or it's contagious enough that it will be adopted by similarly disposed new Marxists in other parts of the country, and that is very much the case.
Oh, no.
In the state of Massachusetts, the senators there, Pocahontas and Markey, along with Frances Parker Spice, the good representative cue ball, Ayanna Pressley. She went to Frances Parker.
I know.
Yeah.
$45,000 a year.
They have penned a letter.
Oh, no, not a letter.
To the federal government saying you can't be underwriting ShotSpotter because it's racist. You've heard this before, but hear it from someone else.
There's a call for a federal probe of gunshot detection tools that are called ShotSpotter. The equipment is placed on light poles and used by police to respond faster to shootings, but a recent report shows the systems are placed primarily in minority neighborhoods, and officials say this is a violation of civil rights laws. In a letter to the Department of Homeland Security, Massachusetts Senator Ed Markey said, quote, several recent reports have cast substantial doubt on the accuracy and effectiveness of the ShotSpotter gunshot detection system and have raised serious questions about its contribution to unjustified surveillance and over-policing of Black, Brown, and Latino communities. In response to the letter, the company behind the ShotSpotter says, quote, we believe this letter and its claims are without merit, and we are confident that the DHS will see through this baseless attempt to disparage this critical public safety technology.
There you go. The Fed's trying to sick DHS on ShotSpotter to give big city politicians like BLM Brandon more political cover when they clip it. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's federal and state working together.
That is none of the federal government's damn business, what each municipality does.
It's racist, though.
But
So
it's not. How is ShotSpotter racist? I have a ShotSpotter by me. I love my ShotSpotter. After the DNC, when my ShotSpotter goes away, I might set up a Mylar balloon, a Guadalupe candle, and have a little vigil. I mean, why? It is not racist. Oh, my God, it's in every neighborhood. And that we have shootings on the north side. We have shootings on all 77 neighborhoods of the city. No one is immune. And ShotSpotter helps because 911 isn't cutting it. And police know a lot faster if they believe a shot was fired than if somebody calls 911.
Get up and get down. 911 is a joke in your town. Public Enemy was prescient. Actually, our friend George Bliss took notice of that shooting death at 59th and Halstead last night. No one called 911 for quite a few minutes, and law enforcement was alerted about the shooting, alerted to the shooting by a ShotSpotter. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all, of course, but it's just another tool that seems sensible, particularly in high-crime neighborhoods, to provide sort of some redundancy to the 911 emergency system for law enforcement and, frankly, for other first responders to get to crime scenes, crimes in progress faster than they otherwise might. That's all.
And Mayor Johnson's point of contention is, we have a 1% arrest record with ShotSpotter. ShotSpotter is helping victims, gunshot victims, from bleeding out and dying. Okay, sorry, your 1% number, I don't know about that. But here he is, just, this is when he talked about it.
The question is, did ShotSpotter make us safer? Did it stop shootings? It didn't. In fact, less than 1% of ShotSpotter alerts have actually led to an arrest. It just wasn't working.
If did ShotSpotter stop shootings? In other words, people are caught shooting on ShotSpotter, they're arrested, and it would disincentivize people from shooting. No, but that's not a problem with ShotSpotter per se. It's a problem with the criminal justice system in Cook County. More so, isn't it, in terms of the incentives that violent offenders and criminals who use guns are faced with. That's number one. But, the whole ShotSpotter thing, it's just a proxy. It's basically just sort of a litmus test to say, are you really interested in trying to stop violent crime and trying to bring violent offenders to justice, or are you not? And the ShotSpotter is just a way to basically say your position on ShotSpotter is just basically a way to say we either are or we aren't. And Brandon Johnson and the power structure in Chicago and Cook County are saying, no, we're not.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also reach us on our text line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Grant in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, you guys. So if it's so racist that they're placed in these areas of high crime and high minority concentrations, keep them there and fill up the suburbs with them. It's fine. Everybody out in the suburbs can have ShotSpotter, and then it's not racist that if it's just about placement. Put them everywhere.
Thanks for the call, Grant. You don't need to go outside of the city. You can go to lily white neighborhoods like Amy's where there's a ShotSpotter.
There's ShotSpotter. You guys, there's ShotSpotters everywhere. And there's portable ones, too. So if there was, because remember the shooting at Irving and Western? Then they brought one over there for a while, then they moved it somewhere else. And I believe there's a lot of aldermen who want to keep ShotSpotter, and they want it to, to be an alderman's decision or alderwoman's decision on whether or not to keep it. I think that that Brandon Johnson, at the very least, should let wards who want to keep it, keep it. But
Deborah Arlington Heights.
Yeah, wasn't it Rahm Emanuel that said if we could save one life, like one life is of value? Why wouldn't you use every tool possible to try to save lives? Bring it out to the suburbs. That'd be great. I'm fine with it.
Well, thanks for the call, Deborah. That's for suburban communities to decide.
It's not an eyesore or anything.
Whatever. The point is that, again, it's a tool. It's one tool, a small tool, but it's still a tool. It still could help. And the interesting thing is they're not making an argument about some sort of infringement upon people's constitutional rights, sort of the surveillance state argument, which you could make. I don't think you would be able to make a compelling enough argument to deem a tool like that unconstitutional, but you could make it. You could express that concern. But they're just saying it's racist because it's reflective of the distribution of crime in urban centers. What are you going to do? We know 80% of the violent crime, Class X felonies, and more than 80% of the victims, let me just say specifically with respect to homicide, 80% of the victims and 80% of the perpetrators are black men.
Mm-hmm. Black on black.
So that's what ShotSpotter is gonna catch. ShotSpotter doesn't have a particular disposition. It's just a machine that goes to where the sound of fire is coming from. I mean, it's just pretty straightforward, but whatever. All right, fine, it's racist. I get it. Everything's racist. Ron, Southside.
Hey, good morning, Dan. And I was just thinking just what you said. That's where the crime is occurring. These people with this, everything black and brown is, stop it. Stop it. It's tiresome. It's sickening. It's just it's just lies, simple garbage. Please, and for the black and the brown people, stop committing the crimes. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Ron.
We have the best text message. Dan and Amy, the red light cameras are not stopping accidents.
Yeah.
So the ShotSpotter is not stopping shootings.
Maybe if we could find a way that ShotSpotter would generate revenue, we'd be all for it.
Right. That's the next text message. The city can't make money on ShotSpotter. It's all about money for this corrupt city.
Why don't we pay people who are caught on ShotSpotter?
Oh, wait.
And
make them pay? No.
Yeah,
if you're caught on ShotSpotter and you're arrested, then you have to pay.
But but there's like doing an asset seizure of people, a lot of people that don't have assets. That doesn't. Well, maybe we could get sponsors.
Oh.
Oh
yeah, this ShotSpotter is sponsored by Walmart.
Yeah, or this this street gang is sponsored by. Oh yeah. We could do corporate sponsors of street gangs too, like
this North
sports
Ashland
teams.
one is sponsored by blank blank gang.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say their name because I can't stand them because they're tagging up the neighborhood.
Bob and Wilmette.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. I really hope they don't get rid of ShotSpotter. And in fact, I've come up with a new technology called Snot Spotter. And what you do is you hang that on the poles, light poles and whatnot at universities, so you can detect the spoiled elite social justice brat students who are about to set up an encampment.
That's not bad. I like your nut buddy idea from yesterday better for testicle sharing. You let somebody borrow, somebody who trans, you either let, whatever the arrangement is, you can borrow it for a time or you can keep it, and you sort of provide a market, an exchange for people who need testicles, and people like a lot of your neighbors in Wilmette who don't need their testicles anymore, don't use them, don't have them.
Right, or they simply might not have them, and you can get some. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, well, I'll get going on that, Dan. I got that GoDaddy URL all signed up.
All right. Well, grab SnotSpotter too while you're at it. Let's, we'll incubate a couple of these businesses. I mean, one of them's got a hit. Thanks for the call, Bob. Appreciate it. Serial entrepreneur, Bob and Wilmette.
Yeah, I like him.
Well, I mean, the left is definitely creating some market opportunities. George in Will County.
Well, since we're getting away with things, doing away with things that aren't doing their job, how about we start with some of the politicians in Chicago? Truly, they are worthless. I know they haven't did 1% of their job. And to add to the nut butter situation, we should throw Naperville and some of parts of Plainfield and New Lenox in there too.
Sure, the Nut Buddy, nutbuddy.com.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call.
Yeah, nutbuddy.com where you can donate a testicle.
Donate a testicle
to
it.
Still live with one testy, right? I don't know what the...
Yeah, like a Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
So you could.
Brett Miller. Oh, did I say
oh, really? Brett Miller's?
Yeah,
one
testicular.
Oh, that's too bad. Well,
I don't know
this
why I brought that up. I'm sorry,
this is so a voluntary exchange. This is per all the campus kids at Georgia State. We brought you yesterday who were asked if they donate one of their testicles to a woman who wants to transition to a man. To pretend,
right.
And almost to a boy, they said yes, and
everyone said yes except for one black man who's like,
but he was sort of persuaded. But at the end of the brief exchange, he was sort of open-minded to the concept, so he could definitely be pushed over the edge. So you just see like that much supply, and thanks to the social contagion, increasing demand, and you got a business there, no question about it. Mike and Hammond.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, guys. I got 2 points, actually. One is, why is
Mayor Brandon Johnson waiting till after the Democratic convention to get rid of the ShotSpotter. And two, if you were to put the ShotSpotter in the suburbs, lily white suburbs, and take them out of the inner city, it'd be called white privilege, and that's the truth.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
Well, Superintendent Snelling wanted him to keep him in place until after the DNC. He doesn't want him to go away either.
He explained, did BLM Brandon, in that sit down with ABC 7's Jiminy Glick, that he is giving ShotSpotter, even though he knows it doesn't work, he's giving them more time to produce evidence that would indicate it does work, or some bull jive, two-step answer like that, basically to that effect.
We have a good idea. Text message. Dan and Amy, put a small sticker like those achievement stickers on football helmets or decals on fighter jets. When enemy planes are shot down, put those stickers on the pole of the ShotSpotter if it results in an arrest.
Okay. David in Winnetka.
Yeah, the ShotSpotter is it's reactive. We need to be proactive, and it's becoming so easy for people to shoot each other with just hair trigger for whatever reason that if somebody looks at you sideways, you got to think twice now and have your hand literally on your concealed carry. So, anyways, that's what needs to be going on now.
Thanks, David. Ralph Rantoul.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not trying to be a donatus interruptus, but any testicle that's willing to be donated already signifies non-functioning.
Oh,
yeah,
hey-o.
that's true.
Nice,
yeah,
Ralph.
Very good, Ralph. Thanks for the call. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down, because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Our communities deserve to have their tax dollars spent efficiently. All over Chicagoland, there is an increased need for vital projects like wetland improvements, enhancing water quality, or stormwater mitigation to protect homes against devastating floods. Too often, public officials find themselves at the mercy of outside advisors when planning, budgeting, and building these projects. And let's face it, they rarely meet deadlines or budgets, leaving our communities vulnerable. There's a better way forward. Control Point Engineering. At Control Point Engineering, we're more than just civil engineers. We're champions of quality and efficiency with over 40 years of hands-on experience. Teaming up with Earthworks Land Development, we're breaking down barriers and streamlining processes. Say goodbye to disjointed partnerships and hello to seamless collaboration. From conceptualization to construction, Control Point Engineering delivers everything you need in one unified package, saving you time and money. Visit ControlPointLLC.com today to learn about our successful projects all across Chicagoland. Again, that's ControlPointLLC.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Patriots Fest is this weekend, kicking off in Aurora, May 18th. That's 2 days away from now. That would be Saturday. Country music. Yeah, country music singer Brandon Hart joins us for one last reminder and appeal to support veterans and these veterans organizations that are the beneficiaries at 808.
Today, a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon, a high of 74 degrees. It's 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
Former President Trump about to arrive at the courthouse. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, where the prosecution may rest its case today in New York with their last witness, Michael Cohen, back on the stand for more cross-examination.
Cohen, former president's fixer and lawyer, testified that it was the former president who was completely responsible for the Stormy Daniels arrangement. But that is not what Cohen reportedly said to his former advisor, lawyer Robert Costello, in 2018. In written testimony to the House Judiciary Subcommittee yesterday, Costello said, quote, Cohen decided that while he didn't believe the allegation, he thought the story would be embarrassing for Trump, and especially for Melania. So he decided he would take care of this himself. When asked if Trump had any knowledge of this, Cohen told me, no.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the court. The former president is charged with falsifying records, reimbursing Cohen for keeping Daniels quiet about the alleged affair before the 2016 election. Now, the former president and many of his fellow Republicans in Congress call this political. Jim Jordan chairs the committee that talked to Costello. He tells Fox.
That was what the whole point of the hearing was yesterday, to show just how political all these prosecutions are, all these trials are.
As House Republicans continue their Biden impeachment inquiry, the Justice Department has just sent a letter to Jordan and Oversight Committee Chair James Comer saying the president has asserted executive privilege in refusing to hand over audio recordings from Special Counsel Hur's interview with Biden in the classified documents investigation that ended with no action taken against the president, in part because Hur said Biden's poor memory and old age in the interview could make him a sympathetic figure to the jury. Charges have been filed in Slovakia the day after someone tried to assassinate the prime minister.
The suspect is described as a lone wolf who doesn't belong to any particular group. Prime Minister Robert Fico is in a serious but stable condition in the hospital. He was shot multiple times while meeting supporters outside a political event.
That's Fox's Jonathan Savage. America's listening to Fox News.
57 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. DePaul University President Robert Emanuel has ordered the clearing out of pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas protesters from the Quad on the Lincoln Park campus. Chicago police moved in and began dismantling the encampment around 5:45 this morning. Hundreds of police continue to ring the campus, keeping a few protesters across the street at Seminary in Fullerton. Meantime, the university president has ordered the closing of all green spaces on campus after the clearing of the Quad, and after being fenced off, anyone trespassing on those spaces will be arrested. The driver died after being shot while driving and crashing into several parked cars on the city's south side. It happened last night around 11:50 in the 2400 block of 91st Street. Two are in custody following a car chase and search through the western suburbs. Yesterday afternoon, police have yet to reveal those who were caught's identities. Officers in Oak Brook say burglary and aggravated fleeing charges will be filed. Charges come after officers began pursuing the pair following a burglary in Lombard. Illinois legislators continue to consider tax increases on businesses heading into the final 9 days of the scheduled session. Governor J.B. Pritzker's office telling state agencies his proposed $1 billion in tax increases are not popular and to prepare for $800 million in cuts. This week, Pritzker reiterated his position.
It's really up to the legislature at that point to make decisions about whether they like what was in that original budget, what they might want to change.
Legislators are scheduled to adjourn May 24th. They have until May 31 to balance pass a balanced budget with simple majorities. Cubs over Atlanta 7-1. White Sox blank Washington 2-0. Losses for the Sky and the Fire. The news, a service of quick delivery service, ground delivery when you need it from safe, licensed professionals. Go to quickdelivery.com now to schedule your delivery. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. And now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Walmart is reporting an upbeat quarter. Sales rose. It's raising expectations for this year. Walmart says it's picking up more high-income shoppers, including online. It's also making more from membership programs and advertising. Walmart shares are up nearly 5%. Agriculture and construction machinery company Deere & Company is being cautious about coming months, citing continued changes across the global agricultural sector. Its sales fell 12% in the recent quarter, and though its earnings held up better than expected, Deere's forecast is weaker than Wall Street was predicting. The stock is down 5%. Shares of drug maker Roche are higher. It's reporting positive results from tests of a new weight loss and diabetes control drug. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Posolda, invested in you.
8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka isn't sure this looks good for the Democrats.
The stuff we're seeing on the campuses, it's not politically good for the Democrats. Clearly the Democrats can't control it. Have they just lost any kind of command and control over their base?
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Think identity theft won't happen to you? Think again. There's a new victim every 3 seconds in the U.S., over 15 million this year alone, and many don't even know they're victims. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could miss even when you monitor your credit. If your identity's stolen, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft, but everyone can save up to 25% their first year with my name, Clay, as the promo code at lifelock.com.
And Doug. To celebrate everyone who's customized and saved hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, we got a savings siren that goes off every time someone saves. There it is! It's a really more savings, which really... Okay, a lot of savings. Little annoying now. Will you stop saving for 5 seconds?
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Remke's Garage Repairing America.
You've heard Remke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Remke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Remke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Remke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Remke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to remkesgarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Remkes, R-E-M-K-E-S, garage.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with. You can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel. Home to the biggest shows on TV, like Sebastian Gorka, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, followed by Stacey Washington at 5. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
8:09, let's get an update on the roads. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, this update is service of Del Bacchio Marchetti Group of Ad Properties, Christie's International Real Estate, experts in the northwest suburbs and Chicago. You'll get the most value for your home at 708-828-0000. Kennedy inbound is at 1 hour and 18. O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike on the inbound side, 67 in from Manheim to the old post office. An accident on the left shoulder on the outbound Ike at Irving Park Road. Stevenson right now is 1 hour 5 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And the Dan Ryan, a heavy 47 from 95th into the Burns Circle. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Turning cloudy. Chance of a shower or thunderstorm this afternoon. High 74. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, clouds and 57 right now at O'Hare, 58 at Midway. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment brought to you by Unleash Your Wealth with Raj Shah and Rick Borick this Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Learn more at scwealthadvisors.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, some Western nations, not the United States, but some Western nations are taking notice of the impacts of this trans social panic, this contagion, and looking at some of the medical research into this spike in trans identification. And they're reversing course in their nations. Reversing course, particularly in the wake of the CAST report out of the UK, where they have stopped providing puberty blockers and doing trans surgeries at their national health system because, well, they looked at the outcomes, and they're not great. So, I don't know, it doesn't seem like there's that much pushback here, but there are battles being won in other countries. There are battles being won in this country, too. There's a California case we'll get to. But, for example, since I mentioned UK and where this is so prevalent, where this starts and then radiates out from these institutions, I'm talking about K through 12 government schools, and not just government schools. Schools in England will be told by the government not to teach children gender identity theories and sexual education in general to children under the age of 9. That's no more restrictive than the quote-unquote don't say gay law in the state of Florida, but this is England, merry old England. Fresh guidance from the government will inform schools that they should not teach children they can change their gender identity. and that if asked, should only provide children with biological information about sex. Schools will also be required to inform children they cannot legally change their gender until after the age of 18. Okay. Meanwhile, teachers will be told they should refrain from engaging in explicit conversations about sex until at least the age of 13. That guidance will be published today, and that's BBC reporting on it. So that's a pretty substantial reversal from the social panic that has overtaken the West, and certainly that would include England.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA. Then a quick comment. Remember when Dylan Mulvaney fled to Peru to, quote-unquote, feel safe?
Hi, is this an okay time? Okay, surprise! I'm in Peru, and I'm at Machu Picchu. Isn't this just so beautiful?
Sure, yeah.
I'm here by myself, and I used to do a ton of solo traveling. I'm telling you, it's the best. If you could ever do a solo trip somewhere, it is such a good way to get to know yourself better. But I came here to feel something, you know what I mean? And I definitely have. I've done shaman ceremonies that were like 10 years worth of therapy. It was wild. I've seen a lot of llamas. And the people here are so kind. I feel very safe here. Yeah, it's a little sad that I had to leave my country to feel safe, but that will get better eventually.
Oh,
and I am dying for some
you
training.
know what happened in Peru? They have now classified trans people as mentally ill.
Yeah, well, Dina Boluarte, the president of Peru, issued that statement. But, I mean, she's just, again, making a statement in furtherance of the science. Peru's government argues that the decree, that basically that trans people are mentally ill, and free psychological services will be made available to Peruvians. We also have, just another example, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Speaking of the state of Florida, that bridge that takes you into St. Petersburg over the ocean.
Yeah,
you're familiar with that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we're not going to do the whole pride thing, lighting up everything with a rainbow for this, Rainbow Reich month that we do in the country writ large. Not going to do that in the state of Florida. They're going to do freedom-oriented ornamentation instead.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's, just again, what's happening at the local level as compared to maybe what the federal government is pushing.
Target's not going to push their merchandise, their trans pride merchandise. Remember last year it involved a Satanist. There was a T-shirt with Satan on it. They're not going to be displaying the merchandise in most of their stores. It's going to be online, though, but they had got a lot of pushback, and they lost a lot of money because people don't want that with the tuck-it-in suit. Remember that?
Yeah.
And our friend Alex went in and tried one on. Remember? Did you ever see that video?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So they're not they're going to end all of that. What
Yeah.
consumers want.
Yeah, they
know your audience.
In Florida, it's the Skyway Bridge. Everything else could be freedom. It's going to be the Freedom Summer. You got the Gimme Dat Summer in Chicago. Well, in Florida, it's going to be the Freedom Summer. So there you go. There's the distinction between the two. In California, too, I mean, just circling the globe a little bit, a teacher in, where is it? God bless it. Having technical difficulties. A teacher there who was fired for using the wrong pronouns. Here we go again. The school district is settling that dispute by paying out $360,000. California's Jurupa Unified School District settled the lawsuit this week. $360,000, a former high school teacher fired after refusing to use a student's preferred pronouns. So, we are seeing these sort of legal victories here and there, and that's a good thing. We're seeing other countries, based on with things like the Cass report as the scientific backup, make statements that we used to understand to be true, that were sort of politicized out of fashion, that maybe are becoming a little bit more fashionable again, maybe encouraging people in certain places to be a little bit more courageous because they don't want to be recorded as having stood on the side of history that included supporters of mutilating kids. And also, too, I would say on this, a lot of credit goes to people like Chloe Cole and Prisha Mosley and the detransitioners who have told their stories, too, painful as they are. I mean, that gets around as well and starts to maybe creep into some people's minds about what I should just blindly accept from the sentimental barbarian set. Jim in South Elgin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
There's actually some very interesting happenings going on in the state of Washington. There is they call these initiatives, and 3 of them are going to start effective June 7th or 8th. And there's 3 more on the fall ballot, and a lot of them have to deal with different things. And one of those is, not sharing sexual stuff with kids and things like this, and letting parents opt out of this. And this is very interesting because I think a lot of, like you're saying, the tide is turning, and a lot of these people, these Democrats, don't want to get booted out of office, so they're acting friendly and conservative during the election year. I'll send you the information on it. It's very interesting.
All right, thanks for the call, Jim. Dan and Amy, Chicago's Morning Answer.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Sean Thompson here. You know when you're at the mall and you go to those directory signs, the one that says you are here? Well, imagine that directory is a map of your preparation for retirement. Would you know where you are? My friend Tom Fortino at Alpha Wealth Group is offering you the opportunity to not only find yourself on that map, but also find the route toward a successful retirement. He calls it his retirement roadmap. You'll get an analysis of where you are right now, whether you're at risk if the market drops again, whether you're taking advantage of the latest tax changes, and much, much more. To get an idea where you stand on the road to retirement, call my friend Tom Fortino at the Alpha Wealth Group today at 630-934-1855. That's 630-934-1855. And ask for the retirement roadmap, or visit alphawealthgroup.com. And don't forget to listen to the Alpha Wealth Hour Saturday mornings right here on AM 560, The Answer at 9 a.m.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois.
All right, choosing where to send your child to school is one of the most important decisions we make as parents, even as the school year is coming to an end. You might be thinking about where to send your kids to school in the fall. Well, you need to know that private school might be an option for you and your family, thanks to our good friends at Half Price Schools. At halfpriceschools.com, you'll find many different private schools from all around Chicago area offering a full year of tuition for, you guessed it, half of the normal price. And you could take advantage of this great opportunity. It's simple. Find a private school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools across Chicagoland, including St. Andrew's Lutheran School in Park Ridge, Ravenswood Christian School in Chicago, Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, St. Peter Lutheran School in Schaumburg. But do not delay. Next school year will be here before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. Don't wait. Halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba. Hey, let me tell you about our age analysis assessment. It takes just a few seconds to scan for those advanced glycated end products that cause premature aging. And then we'll briefly go over your results and give you a few things for you to do to improve. And then we'll retest you in about 60 days. And you'll pay our special low price for your first assessment, and I'll pay for your second one. That's right. Your follow-up age analysis assessment is on me. And we're going to compare your biologic age with your chronologic age, and then we're going to help you determine if your biologic age is on par with your chronologic age. But you got to make that call today, not tomorrow, but today. It's our Health Quest radio hotline, 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. Second assessment free if you make that call right now. 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, Saturday mornings at 11.
All right, this spring, as you bust out that grill, get your patio ready for summer barbecues, just remember that hot dogs, brats, burgers, and beer don't provide the fruits and veggies that your body desperately needs every day to stay healthy and energized. That's why I've been taking Balance of Nature for nearly a decade. It's so easy to open up the individualized capsules and dust them over my salad or mix them into my juice drink or warm water. That's how I do it. And thousands of AM 560 listeners love their Balance of Nature, and you will too. 6 capsules a day provides your body, your heart, and your mind with over 10 servings of 31 different fruits and vegetables. You will love it. Your body, mind, and heart will thank you for it too. So order today by calling 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751. Use coupon code Chicago to save 35% off your first order and free shipping as a preferred customer. 800-246-8751. Call now or order online at balanceofnature.com and use coupon code Chicago. Balance of Nature fruits and veggie supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
Did the Protestant Reformation suffer a premature death? Absolutely, argues the riveting book, Reviving the Reformation by Dr. Daniel Lang. The book of Acts chapter 21 verse 20 reports that myriads or tens of thousands of Jewish believers dwelled in Jerusalem, and they were all zealous for the Torah. Their leaders were guiding the early Messianic faith. 40 years after the death of Jesus, however, the Jews revolted against Rome. This rebellion caused a Roman hammer to crush Israel, destroying the temple and Jerusalem. Following this devastation, the leadership of the Jerusalem church fell into other hands. Reviving the Reformation recovers the lost first-century Messianic faith. It answers the most difficult questions that some dare not ask about traditional Christianity. Buy Reviving the Reformation on Amazon. For a deep discount, purchase the book securely from the author at revivingthereformation.com. That's revivingthereformation.com. And like Reviving the Reformation on Facebook. With biblical faith fading fast in Western culture, now is the time to restore the truth by reviving the Reformation.
Parents, grandparents, you might want to be sitting down, because this is amazing news. Imagine the student in your family not asking you for money to pay for college, or better yet, not getting into years and years of debt. How's this possible? Scholarships.com, a trusted and widely used scholarship platform that helps your student find scholarships and navigate the financial aid process. Get help to pay for college through a personalized list of scholarships that your student actually qualifies for. Better yet, every scholarship is vetted to ensure accuracy. And now the best part, drum roll please, it's absolutely free. Go to scholarships.com today. Both students and parents can join for free. And within minutes, receive your list of personalized scholarship matches. Check out the wealth of information and resources available at no cost. And read the fantastic reviews from other scholarship winners. Scholarships.com has helped over 23 million students and families find scholarships to help pay for college. And will help you too. Join scholarships.com today for free. That's scholarships.com.
From breaking news and weather across the country to insight from the brightest minds in conservative opinion, it's Salem News Channel, home to the biggest shows on TV, like Brandon Tatum weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, followed by Charlie Kirk at 7. Join SNC, where facts are sacred, critical thinking is celebrated, and the pursuit of truth is unwavering. Watch Salem News Channel free, now on Zumo Play. Learn more at snc.tv/Zumo.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about the UK and the school system, the country of Peru reversing course on their understanding of trans and, by extension, changing policy, characterizing as a mental illness in Peru, providing free psychiatric care, though, to those who are afflicted with gender dysphoria. UK guidance to restrict teaching of gender ideology in the schools. Well, I mentioned people that deserve credit for the small victories, the Riley Gaines fighting the fight to get men out of women's sports, those who've detransitioned who have come forward to tell their stories, even though they're very difficult. Chloe Cole, Prisha Mosley, to name but two. Also the parents who've been victimized by these identitarian thugs, and that's what they are. And particularly when the schools have the state as a co-conspirator to prevent the parents from knowing exactly what's going on or doing much about it. Places like California where you could actually criminalize parental intervention. Well, again, you think that these are just stories in faraway lands. This comes to us from Coeur d'Alene Public Schools, Idaho. Not California, Idaho. This mom's daughter attended the Coeur d'Alene public schools after being in private school, and that's when the problem started.
Not too long after she started attending school there, I noticed a behavior change. First thing she did was come home and want to cut her hair. And not too long after that, I was called into the school to attend a meeting with the assistant principal, teachers, and her counselor. And I was asked to sign a paper to allow my child to change her name and be using different pronouns. And I said, absolutely not. I stood up, absolutely not. And my child became very angry at me in the room. But she had all the support of her teachers and the staff there, volunteers, everybody in the school district there in that school. I became her enemy at that point.
And you said she wanted to be referred to as a boy named Felix?
Felix the cat. She identified with Felix and being a furry in the beginning, and I thought it was just a comical thing. I also thought it's not serious. It's just a child's fantasy, a play game. But it escalated quickly. Then she started changing her clothes, dressing like a boy. And she asked me to call her Felix. And I said, absolutely not. And that was the beginning of the road of horror. Well, I became the enemy, and they became her world. The counselor would help her. Jennifer Zaki was her counselor. I'd been in her office many times, concerned about what's going on with my child. And she was always on my child's side on every issue. It was like my child had a new best friend. And what I said didn't matter anymore. And everything that she was believing, they affirmed it by letting her, be called whatever she wanted to be called, even though I did not sign the form for them to do that. And the first thing I noticed when I walked in there, all the gay, lesbian flags hanging up everywhere, So the influence was there. I just wasn't paying attention to it then. And I trusted the facility to help her in her studies, not affirm her that she's not a girl, that she's born in the wrong body. Where is that coming from?
What did the school say about this? I mean, when you tried to confront them about it, what was the response?
It was kind of a brush-off thing, like, no, that's not happening. Like, there was no big deal. Like, it wasn't an issue to them at all.
The horror that she talked about, Mom, included multiple suicide attempts. The good news is her daughter is now in a new school, and she's doing much better, according to the reporting by the Idaho Tribune. The Idaho Tribune is a conservative outlet, which is the only reason this story is seeing the light of day, for obvious reasons. So people like that mom telling stories like this, too, that get around, and people like us are happy to amplify and should, and you should do the same. Those who are listening who know the destruction that this identitarian poison wreaks on kids and families. All right.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Natan Sharansky about the model Hamas at places like DePaul. That's at 8:38.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
8:33, we have mostly sunny skies at the moment, 60 degrees. DePaul University's President Robert Manuel has ordered the clearing out of pro-Palestinian and pro-Hamas protesters from the Quad on the Lincoln Park campus. The university president has also ordered the closing of all green spaces on campus after the clearing of the Quad, and after being fenced off, anyone trespassing on those spaces will be arrested. The Biden campaign is accusing Donald Trump of playing games with presidential debates. This after Trump said he will now participate in a third debate hosted by Fox News in October. Fox's Jared Halpern has more on DebateGate from the White House.
The Biden and Trump campaigns went from no debates on the books to 2 in just a matter of hours.
Lost 2 debates. Going up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice.
The 2 candidates both say they will participate in a CNN debate in Atlanta on June 27th and an ABC News debate September 10th. Former President Trump is calling for additional debates in July and August, a proposal the president's team is not accepting. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A grave with at least 10 bodies has been found in Tijuana, Mexico, just days after the murders of 3 men from San Diego. The NFL is heading to Netflix. The streaming giant will be the exclusive home for the league's 2 Christmas Day games this season. A driver in Chicago is dead after being shot while driving and then crashing into several parked cars on the city's south side. Chicago police say it happened around 11:50 last night in the 2400 block of 91st Street. And 2 people are in custody following a car chase and subsequent search in the western suburbs. Police have yet to reveal the identities of those that were arrested. Officers in Oak Brook say burglary and aggravated fleeing charges will be filed. It all follows a burglary in Lombard. Cubs 7-1 winners over Atlanta. White Sox blank Washington 2-0 on the south side. Garrett Crochet picking up his 4th win. The news, a service of ReviveYourLawn.com. Don't DIY, RYL. Revive Your Lawn. With the landscape and design experts. Outdoor patios, kitchens, lighting, and more. Get an instant online estimate today at ReviveYourLawn.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says nice doesn't mean wise.
I realized nice people can vote viciously because there is no connection between nice and wise. You can be not nice and wise, and you can be nice and a fool. At least fool on the macro matters, not necessarily in personal matters.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer. It's almost time once again for the annual AM 560 golf outing presented by Signature Bank. And this year, AM 560 is proud to partner with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to help them support America's first responders and military heroes, including homeless veterans, and to help America never forget 9/11. This year, our golf outing is happening on Wednesday, June 19th at McRae Memorial Golf Club in Barrington. When you purchase a foursome to join us, you'll enjoy a full day of golf, meals, an awards reception, and a silent auction. And if you're a business owner, when you purchase a foursome, you'll also receive an AM 560 marketing package, which includes 25 one-minute commercials between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. and a free digital marketing analysis. And we also have twosomes available in addition to foursomes. Reserve your foursome today at 560theanswer.com/golf. That's 560theanswer.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Control Point Engineering, Waukegan Roofing, and by Crosscom Public Adjusters.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-809-5955. That's 312-809-5955. 312-809-5955.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
The fiber and spice is a very effective product. There's no question. A product that is very reliable. It's a very good product.
I swear by these. Probably the best products that I've ever used. I think they're just simply good for your body.
When I used to work, I used to do my art over the weekend all the time. And now I do yard work. I have been doing yard work. I can sweep my floor and make my place look nice. And I take Balance of Nature, and yeah, it feels really good.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order, plus $10 off any additional sets. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code CHICAGO.
8:39. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time. And this update is a service of Lowe's. At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 20 or more select self-leveling underlayment because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. On the tri-state this morning, we're seeing delays southbound between 31st and Ogden, a disabled vehicle blocking a right-hand lane. Road work on DuSable Lakeshore Drive, jamming things up northbound between Oakwood and the Stevenson. Stop-and-go traffic on I-57, jamming into the Ryan Merge, and the Ryan, a very heavy 47 95th into the Byrne Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. In our ReviveYourLawn.com Weather Center, could have a couple of afternoon showers or maybe a thunderstorm, high 74. Showers and storms overnight under cloudy skies and 59. 60 right now at O'Hare. Your next news update at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Shlomo Ben-Ami is a former Israeli foreign minister. He's written an op-ed about, of course, what's happening in Gaza and then also what's happening in the West in response to what's happening in Gaza in the wake of the October 7th terrorist attack. And I'm particularly interested in recounting what he had to say because he's a Labor Party guy. He was. He's a critic of Bibi and Likud. He notes, though, the ahistorical basis for so much of this protesting and violence and ignorant chanting. Perhaps Israeli peace activists and progressive Zionists, he being one, are targeted for boycotts and retractions precisely because they challenge simplistic anti-Zionist narratives, which position Zionism as necessarily racist and purely evil. These narratives are often underpinned by a discourse of totalitarian political correctness in pro-Palestinian circles that is unscrupulously indifferent to the nuances of history. For example, Canadian Jewish author Naomi Klein discusses the mass displacement and dispossession of Palestinians in 1948, but makes no reference to the war that had been declared by the Palestinians and neighboring Arab countries in response to the 1947 UN resolution partitioning Palestine into two states, one Arab and one Jewish. She also, does Klein, accuses Israel of regarding Palestinian children as a demographic threat without acknowledging that it was PLO leader Yasser Arafat, a Nobel Prize winner, I might add, which I say critically, right, who first referred to the womb of the Palestinian mother as the best weapon of the Palestinian people. That was a quote. Jewish anti-Zionism is as old as Zionism. Rosa Luxemburg, Leon Trotsky, Karl Kautsky, the members of the General Jewish Labor Bund, and many others got there before Klein. Founding scholars of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, such as Gershom Shlom, Sholem and Judah Magnus and luminaries like Hannah Arendt supported a binational Jewish-Arab state, which the Palestinians opposed. Then there are the millions of Israelis who've been demonstrating for 7 months now against the messianic Zionism embedded by Bibi. But these very people are also Zionists, and they are the only hope for peace. He goes on to talk about the sins Israel has committed in the occupied territories and the need for Palestinian emancipation. However, he says that those who are purporting to want peace, it might not be peace they want. The tendency to declare every Israeli to be nothing more than a mouthpiece for power seems to betray the most fervent anti-Zionist ultimate goal, canceling Israel. Anti-Zionism might not be a synonym for anti-Semitism, but both are seemingly incurable pathologies. Well, sure, because in this distinction that's always attempted to be made by the fork-tongued anti-Semites. Oh, I'm not anti-Jewish people. I'm anti-Zionism. I'm anti the state of Israel, or I'm not even anti-Zionism. I'm anti the Bibi regime in Israel. But then you hear the things they say, and it's about as credible as those people characterizing themselves as anti-war protesters who are at the same time calling for the annihilation of the Jews. It's just not credible. And we see this perhaps, if you pay attention, you knew, but people are seeing this laid bare throughout our institutions, including their dear alma maters, in ways maybe that have gone unnoticed before.
Yeah, right now they're currently still taking down the encampment at DePaul that was up for way too long. They should have put a stop to that. And then last night at UC, University of California, Irvine, listen to this professor who's embedded with the kids.
We cannot have a genocidal foreign policy in a democracy. These young people are going to be the ones that have to pay the price for these horrible decisions.
Yeah, by the way, the genocide that's supposedly going on there, the Palestinian population in Israel has increased by something like ninefold since 1948. It's an odd approach to genocide. But again, this is ahistorical, afactual, and
emotionally unstable, I'd say, too.
Well,
that lady was.
That's the tip of the iceberg there. Amoral, just generally speaking, but this is about an ideological movement that is even bigger than anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is just a feature, but it's not the whole story, as we talked about with Heather McDonald earlier this week. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Natan Sharansky, former Soviet dissident and Israeli politician, chairman of the advisory boards of the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement and the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. Mr. Sharansky, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
What's your reaction to, in particular, what the former Israeli foreign minister had to say about this distinction without a difference between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism?
Well, first of all, I have to say that Shlomo Ben-Ami is an outstanding intellectual, outstanding professor, a very interesting person. But when it comes to politics, I believe he's absolute failure. We were in the same government when he was foreign minister and I was minister of internal affairs. And Shlomo had a secret negotiations with Palestinians and Yasser Arafat, which I had to unmask. We found out that he was the architect of proposals, including giving to Arafat half of Jerusalem. And with these proposals, Ehud Barak went to Camp David, and of course found that Yasser Arafat said no when President Clinton and Ehud Barak tried to convince him to agree. Why he said no? Because he wanted destruction of Israel, only Israel, from the river to the sea. And his answer was Second Intifada and the awful war and the awful wave of terrorism. So we have to learn from this experience of Ehud Barak and Shlomo Ben-Ami.
Well, right. I mean, it seems to me one of the lessons, and you could the subtext of that op-ed from that I was referencing is basically appeasement. It's sort of decrying the ahistorical and ignorant characterization of Israel and the Israelis, but at the same time, it's appeasement of forces that you're characterizing as wanting one thing when it's pretty clear they want something very different.
Yeah, well, the real peace cannot be reached by appeasement of the terrorists.
Right.
That was a mistake of Oslo. That was a mistake of proposal in Camp David. That was the mistake of disengagement. And by the way, not only I'm for peace, I was speaking about two-state solutions 25 years ago, but it cannot be a state of terrorists. It cannot be a state which aims to destroy us. It can be only civil society which is ready for coexistence. And it's not happening. It's not even close to this.
I wonder, as a former Soviet dissident, it's always interesting to talk to those who lived behind the Iron Curtain. If what you see in the West today and how reminiscent it is of what you lived through in Eastern Europe back in the day.
Yes, well, thank you for asking. Look, I am very alarmed. And first, I started my alarm about what's happening in the universities 20 years ago, when I had a trip over American universities and discovered that we have a phenomenal double thing, that so many students are afraid to speak on behalf of Israel because they believe that it will be dangerous for their career. And I thought, my God, it's not in Soviet Union. It's in the most free country in the world, in the academia of America. That was the beginning. What happened later with so-called woke movement, it's exactly, if you would, in the expression critical race theory, will replace lower race to the word class, you get one-to-one neo-Marxism, Leninism. This attempt to divide all the world on oppressors and oppressed, and that the oppressed is always right, and the oppressed is always wrong, and we should not permit the oppressor even to speak. It's typical neo-Marxism, which, not surprisingly, it brings us to so-called political correctness, which means that only party lines can be expressed publicly, and everybody who is not in accordance with this party line has to be punished, and to pure, primitive antisemitism, because totalitarian theories need the enemy, and it is so easy to say that Israel and Jews, they are the enemy, and Palestinians are the victims. And as a result, those extreme Islamic forces, which want really destruction of the state of Israel, are suddenly united with so-called progressive, and I call them Marxist-Leninist forces, for whom the attacks on Israel, even more than torture of Israelis, that's part of the liberation. No, from the river to the sea, they say, oh, they don't know what river and what sea. It doesn't matter. They want liberation of every river and every sea in the world. They really don't understand what it means. Like in Soviet Union, Bolsheviks didn't understand what communism means. But they knew that that's something that we all have to fight.
Well, and in the Soviet Union, I mean, this is sort of a cautionary. I mean, there's so many aspects of it that's a cautionary tale. But one is, the Mensheviks were actually the more popular political party, but somehow the Bolsheviks won the day. And it's sort of a reminder, I mean, for me, but you give me your perspective. It's a reminder that, this element, this fringe element, they're small in number. They don't pose a particular threat. But if you sort of spend a lot of time navel gazing, as many in the West are wont to do, then what becomes a fringe element and a marginal threat turns out to be the occupying power.
Yeah, I have to say that Bolsheviks, when they came to power, for some people, for intelligentsia, for many Jews, It seems like something very positive. After all, they're speaking about freedom for everybody, about equality, that only the state equipped with Marxism-Leninism can bring this equality by establishing control on every aspect of life. And there were many so-called, as they call them, true believers who wanted to believe that is really progressive, that's really good for all the people. Very quickly, they found out that this regime is trying to rule, to control people with the help of fear. And then they became, most of Soviet people became double thinkers, meaning that they're afraid to say the truth, but they don't believe in all this theories. The fact that more and more people in America are afraid publicly to express their opinions is very dangerous fact. And when the real revolution happens, then many double thinkers are moving to dissent, are ready to say publicly what is wrong. This black-white picture of the world divided only on oppressors and the press, and that people, by their own identity, can belong already to one or another group, the more people will be ready to revolt against it, to criticize it, the more is the chance that there will be some fundamental change, and this totalitarian neo-Marxist theory will be defeated.
Yeah. Equality for the classes, that was the promise of the Bolsheviks. Equity along racial or gender identity lines, that's the promise of the new Marxists. Yeah, it's the same playbook, isn't it?
Yeah, well, of course. In fact, they were speaking about equity and not equality, that not equal opportunities, but equal distribution. And the state will decide what it means. They will take everything from the citizens, and then they distribute in different way. And that, in fact, that meant that it brought to the real dictatorship. And we have to go back to liberalism, to equality in opportunities, to encourage initiative, and that's what finally defeated Soviet system. And that's what America has to go to its basic values of human rights, fundamental human rights of people, to compete, freely to express their views, whatever they are, and have a full free life and the life in accordance with their identities.
Natan Sharansky, former Soviet dissident and Israeli politician, chairman of the advisory boards of the Combat Anti-Semitism Movement and the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy. And you can check out a most recent op-ed from him, The Fight for Freedom from Exodus to Gaza, that was published by the Wall Street Journal. Mr. Sharansky, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Have you been struggling to find an easy, safe, and secure document scanning solution for Salesforce.com, Microsoft 365, SharePoint, or OnBase by Highland? Your struggle is now over, and it's time to get your documents and operations into the 21st century. With IoT Smart Connected Scanning, it's easy to turn physical paper into digital documents and have them directly uploaded to the cloud with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. And you don't need a degree in computing or IT to make it happen. Using QR code technology uniquely configured for your specific business, anyone can set the IoT Smart Connected Scanning device up in 5 minutes or less, saving your organization money and valuable time. Remote employees can even capture documents and send them safely and seamlessly. Organize documents efficiently and securely with IoT Smart Connected Scanning from IDT. To see a demo or to order now, go to ready4idt.com. That's ready4idt.com. Use promo code SMART and receive 10% off your order. IDT, putting paper in its place.
AM 560, The Answer.
Well, good riddance. The encampment at DePaul University is being cleaned up. It's almost complete. There's dump trucks there taking in all the garbage. And
DePaul University is a disgrace. Anti-Catholic Catholic university. It's a disgrace. They're pathetic. And but that's just the state of affairs. DePaul, Loyola,
Northwestern,
Georgetown, all these so-called Notre Dame, all these so-called Catholic universities. Not all of them, but the ones of profile like that, they're a joke. They're a disgrace. I don't know why Catholics send their kids there, honestly.
Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, our executive producer. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Have a glorious day. It is now 9 a.m. WIND Chicago.
It's day